Bell rings, get in the square circle, it's time. The Boxing Biz Podcast is live. Call in and state your mind, but get checked if you're stepping out of line. Jab right hand combination. We're interviewing fighters from every nation. The phone lines are busy. Have some patience. Your 3 minutes are up. No more conversations. The Boxing Biz, where we handle our business. Handle your business. We handle our business. We handle our business. Good morning, everybody. Hope you got your coffee ready, green juice, whatever, oatmeal, whatever. Keep the energy high. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Biz Podcast show here on YouTube, Facebook, X, IG. Check us out across all social media platforms. Welcome back. Lots of talk still with Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. The media push is serious. Super serious.
Doomatron activated. Doomatron activated.
Hit him with the double on that one. So, the media push continues with Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford in the anticipated matchup coming to you live from Las Vegas in September 13th. Want to shout out my people, the Fans Corner. Damn! What's up, my brother? Good morning. Good morning. So we all are getting an earful of Canelo Alvarez versus T-Bud, right? What's funny to me is that the production of this last interview, this last sit-down between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford, I think it must have been either on top of the Empire State Building, but when I was actually looking at the episode, I was trying to get a sense of what building they were on. You know, they got like 5 towers in New York, right? It's like 5 towers. No, you didn't know that? A couple of them got knocked down, unfortunately, right? In 9/11, but I think they were in one of the 5 towers, right? I don't think they were in the Empire because I was trying to see if there was an Empire State Building across the view. So whatever. They were at the top floor of one of those towers. And nice setting, right? Got my man Shaq. Got my man Tom Brady in there. So you see the crossover push that this fight is getting. I mean, it's been an amazing push so far. If you really think about the platforms that are opening up now that Dana White is involved, right? We had this this second presser on WWE, on the UFC. I mean, they had it everywhere. And I think that this is just the beginning, right? I mean, we're still several months away from actually getting to the fight. And this is just a prelude, right, of what type of push this fight is getting. It's phenomenal, man. And I think that we're going to appreciate more and more of what Dana White and his crew are going to be bringing into the sport. Now, mind you, right, there was probably a few things that, are new to the actual scene of what it looks like, right, in a presser. I know if you guys watch UFC, you guys are used to the UFC pressers, right? The UFC pressers are a little different. UFC pressers, you got my man Dana White comes out, hey, how's everybody doing? It's very, very simple, right? It's not sort of like the staged, formal, asking questions to the fighters and, having kind of like a preset master of ceremonies thing set up. That's not really what Dana White does, and he's never done it like that. So it caught a lot of people off guard. Now, do we like it? Is it something different? Should it be better? I think like anything else, it's just something new. It's something new. And of course, we're going to have to get used to it a little bit. When I saw, Crawford and Canelo run from opposite ends of the stage towards each other, I was like, bro, I'm at a UFC fight. This is UFC all the way, written all over it, the way they did that. And honestly, to me, from the promotional standpoint, that creates buzz. And that's what happens with the UFC fights. You know, when you got these guys coming in from the side, opposite sides of the stage, and they're walking towards each other, and then, you know, you got Dana White in the middle, always kind of trying to break things up. And I mean, it's worked for the UFC, and it does create a lot of buzz. Something new for us in the boxing game, right? Because we're used to something different. But I think this is good. This is good for boxing. And Dana White is showing us, right, what we're going to be seeing, especially with the TKO group and everything they got planned for boxing. Now, it was the GOATS podcast. And also we'll be talking about Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao, which is a fight that, you know, if you're a Manny Pacquiao fight, you're looking forward to. I, for one, you know, am looking forward to it. Now, do I believe 100% that Manny Pacquiao is going to be victorious? I don't. You know, father time beats us all. So, you know, him going up against a formidable opponent in Mario Barrios is still exciting to me, you know. The age, yeah, you guys could probably tell me, you know, a thing or two about the age and how this fight shouldn't happen. But, you know, dare to be great. I mean, we've let a lot of people come back, you know. Well, we're not going to say a lot, but Floyd Mayweather came back. Why can't Manny, right? Even though Manny's coming back to a championship fight. This is a little different for Manny. This is not an exhibition. Again, shout out to all the platforms that are tuning in. Shout out to X, Instagram, boom, Facebook, YouTube, everybody that's tapping in. My man, the Fans Corner, was first in line. Champity champ. Also, champ, if you do want to call in, you can call in using the link that is being posted on the chat. So go right ahead and tap in with us. Good to hear from you guys always here on the Boxing Biz. So, so Turki Al-Sheikh also had some interviews that you can go check out on the Ring magazine with, I believe his name is Frank Connie, and I think Mike Coppinger. They didn't get a chance to actually fully watch the whole thing, but we'll probably take care of that during lunchtime show. So yeah, man, it really went off on the GOATS podcast, you know, and you know the PR around this is a little funky because this podcast was actually recorded prior to Canelo Alvarez's fight with William Skull. So the timeline was a little off in some of the conversation when I was listening to it. I was like, oh, okay, so this was like way before. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get a feeling of what I'm seeing, you know, how these two fighters are conducting themselves with each other, right? So far, I've seen Canelo obviously way more comfortable throughout this process so far. You know, Canelo Alvarez has been here before. He's been in big fights. He's had the big stage feel. And if you go back and you look at this GOATS podcast interview, you get to see, and this is before the fight, before Canelo Alvarez fought William Skull, you get to see how the attitudes are changing, right? From then till now. In this podcast, this is before the fight, this is before Canelo Alvarez fought William Skull. It's just something to look at because you see how Crawford also has gotten more comfortable. You guys saw what the presser was like, you know? My man Crawford was in there trying to walk Canelo back. And some of y'all say, oh, you know, he was walking him down. Others are going to say, well, you know, what do you expect him to do? You know, man all up in your face, you're going to back up a little bit. We all saw the shove. It wasn't even a super hard push, but he shoved Crawford back. Canelo got that off. But a lot of you will also say, damn, Crawford was... Because when you walk somebody down, right? Like, if I'm in front of your face, let's say we just going face to face right now. If I'm going to walk you down, right? If I'm going to just use my body weight or whatever to push you back, like, that's strength. You got to have some strength to do that. You know what I mean? So I could take something away from that. I can say that Crawford was showing off a little bit of his power, a little bit of his strength, letting Canelo know that he's not going to be the smaller guy, that he's not going to be that guy that you're going to be able to just walk through. That come forward march at that face-off told a lot of tales between these two fighters. And obviously, Canelo Alvarez was not going to allow Crawford to push or try to, put that body weight pressure on him to push him back. So that's why that shove came about. And, Canelo Alvarez just kept looking at him. You're going to remember. And then you look at Crawford, and he's antagonizing him too. I'm going to take those belts. So, you're getting to see sort of like what you saw in Canelo versus Jacobs. You know what I mean? We all saw that. And I think that was probably one of the first times, because if I'm not mistaken, the Jacobs fight happened before Caleb, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that was one of the first times that we actually saw Canelo, get rowdy at a presser, right? And, you got some fighters, man, that you don't want to get mad. There's some fighters that you want to get mad. You can push them to kind of offset them a little bit. I don't think Canelo's one of those guys that you want to get mad before a fight. I think Canelo Alvarez works better in the ring when he has an opponent to look forward to beat up, right? We saw what he did to Caleb Plant. You don't want to poke the bear, literally, right? Y'all see my man Canelo Alvarez's logo. It's that Bear Mountain bear. You know what I mean? Don't poke the bear. Is it wise what Crawford is doing right now? Is it wise? Or are these just simply orders from Turkey Big Bag Ala Sheik? When that sit down came about, that dinner, I was like, wait a minute. You guys got to do this. You guys got to do that. You guys got to make sure you sell the fight. Who knows what was spoken about at dinner time. But this is remnants and the results of that dinner. And the Bay Day, you're seeing a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see. And in this episode, again, I'm going back to the G.O.A.T.S episode. It's just funny to me, the timeline. I didn't see Crawford comfortable here. I saw him a bit nervous. I don't know if it was the Tom Brady and Shaq. I don't know if it was the whole just feeling of the fight. I don't know if it's something that you just, because if we look back, if we turn back the hands of time, the evolution of Crawford in front of media, he's come a long way, right? And we always kind of gave Crawford a little bit of shit because he wasn't in front of media enough. But, we've seen him more than enough now, more comfortable. And, when you've seen him this comfortable with other medias, and then you see the way he's talking and the way he's expressing himself in this podcast sit down, you see that there was a little bit of nervous energy, right? Now, it doesn't have to mean for all the bud tenders start attacking me and shit. Doesn't mean that I'm saying that he's scared. What I'm saying is that the nerves are there. All right? The nerves are there. Big fight nerves. And Canelo wasn't letting him get off the hook, man. They got into resume discussions between them two. And Canelo was just shutting them down. You know what I mean? Shutting it down. He's like, Victor Postal, shut down. Ricky Burns, shut down. He was just shutting it down. He's like, you never fought an elite fighter. And you got to see Terence Crawford not really like Terence knew that Canelo was picking at his resume and that he wasn't all wrong. Still good fighters he fought at those times. But elite, what is the difference between elite and good, right? What's the difference between a good fighter and a great fighter? And that was a type of distinguishing what Canelo was trying to distinguish himself as compared to any of the other fighters that Crawford had fought. But we'll play some clips too, just to get the sense. If you guys didn't catch the G.O.A.T.S podcast with Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, and of course the host, my man Big Shaquille O'Neal and Tom Brady, La Cabra. You know what I mean? And again, bro, I'm liking this whole crossover stuff they're doing, man. It's great. It's getting more eyes on the sport, and you're getting to see this PR push is huge. Shout out to Clarissa Turcio, says it's WWE. It was Dana White's idea, for sure. Like I said before, Dana White is adding a whole new war room of PR and promotional team that he has. It's been working very well for the UFC. WWE, more eyes. I mean, I was on the live presser, and I'm in between channels, of course. I'm on the Ring Magazine, I'm on the Zone, I'm on WWE, and I'm just going, through each of those channels while the presser's going on, and I'm seeing the push. I'm seeing new fans, people that are coming brand new to the sport. People from WWE who just watch WWE, others that just watch UFC. You're starting to see the interest and the that promotional machine start to work. So stop hating. Chill. As a matter of fact, let's take a listen to what Canelo had said yesterday. And this is the resume battle that him and Crawford had last night. I'll go ahead and put it up for you guys now. Let's take a listen.
You know, and if you look at his career, don't get me wrong, okay? He's a good fighter, a great fighter. I always say before I see him calling me out and want to fight and everything, I say before he's a great fighter. But if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter.
Now, when he asked that, right, you guys hear, right? Mention one elite fighter. One elite fighter. We can go down the line of Crawford's resume. One elite fighter. I mean, again, for Crawford, it was kind of sad because it was all timing, throughout his career. It's not like he had that trajectory like a Canelo or a Mayweather. Some of these other guys have had the actual opportunity to fight these big fights. This is Terence's big fight, as he described in the interview as well. But, looking back at Crawford's resume, you can argue, right, that some of these guys weren't probably at the very best, or they were a little older than we would have liked them to be, or a little bit more into their careers as we would have liked them to be. I mean, man, Victor Postal, he fought him almost 10 years ago. And, of course, Victor Postal at that time was a champion. And, we could get – I give him credit for Victor Postal. Victor Postal was – he was hemming guys up. Now, was he on his way up? Yeah. He had an undefeated record, and Victor Postal was, beating some good guys. I mean, if you guys remember Lucas Martinez, which was a dangerous fighter, man. I can't believe you forgetting about Lucas Martinez. Victor Postal beat him, and then he fought Terence, lost. Josh Taylor lost unanimous decision. Yeah, Victor Postal lost a few times. Lost to Elvis Rodriguez. And it goes to what Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez were also talking about, y'all. It's like fighters are not the same after they fight these guys, Terence was pushing that. Canelo was pushing that. You're not the same after you fight me. But Victor Postal was one of the guys that Canelo was downplaying. And another one was Ricky Burns. But let's continue to see what the talk was, right? Let's go back to the play.
Just mention me one elite fighter.
So Postal wasn't elite?
Who?
Victor Postal.
Who's that guy?
Oh shit. Yo, ever since Canelo learned English, bro, my man's a menace out here, bro. He's a menace. You having me cracking up. Who's this guy? Clarissa Turcio said if we name the elite fights for Canelo, he lost them. Come on, Clarissa. He lost fights where he dared to be great. He dared to be great with Floyd Mayweather. He dared to be great with with Bivol. Those are being dare to be great fights, but he still fought champions and formidable opponents. You know what I mean? Elite fights, super fights. You know, we could get mixed up in the lingo there. Clarissa says people were ducking Postal at the time Danny ducked Postal. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You could argue all this stuff. In what state was that champion in when Crawford fought him? Again, we give him credit, but what they're arguing right now is elite fighters. Elite. Let's go back. Let's go back to the tape.
Oh, so he wasn't commercialized. He wasn't.
Who's
He
that
wasn't a
post?
great. Ricky Burns wasn't elite.
What 40 years old champion in that moment beat Mr. Poster in my gym. I saw.
Now, what's that about? Said that a 42-year-old fighter beat Victor Postal in my gym. I don't know when that happened. I don't know if it was during, I don't know if it was during the time that Terence fought him. Because that would be years ago, right? But Canelo's claiming that there was like some 42-year-old guy beating on Victor Postal in the gym. So you see, he got no respect for Crawford's resume. No respect at all. Will that cost him? Is Canelo Alvarez kind of like not seeing what's really in front of him? Is this a overconfident, too cocky Canelo Alvarez trying to say that Crawford's resume ain't up to par? Is this mind games? Is this Jedi mind games right now? Because as you can see, Crawford really he don't even know what to say to that, And then you get to see Crawford kind of, and look, I'm not a body reading specialist, I'm not none of that, but I guess I've been around the block enough in my life to be able to tell certain things, right? Get a read on people. But you start to see Crawford's starting to get bothered. This is the beginning. Remember, this is before the William Skull fight. This was recorded a long time ago. So it gives me insight on the evolution of what I'm seeing Crawford now. Crawford totally way more confident in the sit downs and as well as in the presser than what I'm seeing here. So this must have been when Canelo was I guess picking at Crawford. And Crawford decided to step it up with these other pressers, because what I'm seeing right now, like I said, I'm feeling a little bit of nervous energy. But let's continue.
Champion in that moment beat Mr. Poster in my gym. I saw that.
So Ricky Burns wasn't elite.
Ricky Burns doesn't elite.
Okay.
He's not elite.
Yeah, Canelo's funny, bro. He said Ricky Burns, that's not elite. Yeah, and he says it's so chill, bro. Look at my man Crawford, bro. Look at Crawford, yo. Crawford's like, damn, man. What you mean Ricky Burns ain't elite? Ah, shit. Canelo was busting it up, bro. Canelo was ripping that resume up. Crawford ain't know what to say. Crawford's like, okay, all right, let's continue.
It's cool.
Is there a champions?
I'm going to fight another elite
There is
fighter
a champions,
in
good fighters, but elite fighters is different. Wait.
So I'm going to fight an elite fighter in September.
Yeah, okay.
Then
We're
gonna
going to find out.
Then we're
We're
going
going
to
to find out.
Then we're
And
gonna
don't
find
get me wrong, you're a great fighter.
out. I know I'm great.
You're a great fighter.
said, I know I'm great. Stop trying to tell me I'm great, Canelo. I know I'm great. Playing games. You see how Canelo right now, he's real cocky with it, bro. He's real cocky with it. I think that's taken Crawford off guard a little bit. You know what I mean?
But are you gonna find out? I hope your uncle Turkey Alashi pay you enough money because it's gonna be the last.
Oh, I hope Uncle Turkey paid you good money because it's gonna be the last. Bro, that's a direct threat. That's a direct threat right there from Canelo, bro. That's a direct threat right there. It's gonna be your last, champ. You know? Bro, these guys are going to give us a hell of a fight come September 13th, bro. There's a lot on the line here. And Crawford, bro, he don't like to lose. He don't like to lose in boxing. He don't like to lose in basketball. He don't like to lose at pencil fighting, spoon fighting. He don't like to lose at all. All of this right here is feeding the fire right now. Indirectly, these guys are feeding the fire right now. You know, with the things that are happening, with all this PR push, sit downs. These guys are going to be seeing a lot of each other, bro. A lot. It's going to be crazy. We got 4 months of this, bro. We got 4 months of this with UFC, WWE, all the ABC letter freaking organizations backing this up, this fight. It's gonna be nuts. We're gonna be getting these guys all day, which is exhausting, and at the same time, it's gonna add more drama because as we get into the lead up to this fight, we're gonna see more and more of this stuff. Shout out to my man Sergio Jaime in the building. Says my 2 favorite fighters, real talk. Watch both their entire careers. Crawford's resume is not up to par, but I'm crazy excited. This is literally my dream fight. Shit, broski. You already know.
Let's go, champ. You feel me?
It's probably my favorite fight too, bro. This is a fight again, guys, that we're getting. We were never gonna get this. Turkey Big Bag Alice Sheik stepped up to the plate and got these guys on top of one of the towers, getting interviewed by Shaq and Tom Brady. This would have never happened, bro. This would have never happened without the Turkey Bag and Dana White. They got different reach, bro. It's a different push, bro. And you know, and Top Rank is a hell of a company with PR pushing and the way they make their fighters, you know, glow. You know, even when they're not supposed to. But this is gonna be good. I can't wait. More and more big fights being pushed like this. More and more venues, more eyes. Sport of boxing is growing, y'all. Whether y'all like it or not. You see what my man Dana White, and I'm going to play the clip, bro. Stop hating. All you haters, all you knucklehead. I don't want to change. We all saw how we felt when Jake Paul stepped in. So many of us, because I'm including myself in that in the beginning. You know, when Jake Paul hit the scene, I was a boxing purist and shit. I wasn't trying to have none of that clown shit, air quotes, you know what I mean? But it turned out to be good. It turned out to be amazing. And now we got Dana White stepping up to the plate. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, y'all not used to that UFC feel, right? Especially when he was taking questions. Who's got a question? Who's got a question? Hey, yo, it caught so many of y'all off guard. A lot of y'all don't watch UFC. See, I watch the UFC. I'll put you in a guillotine, Kimura, hit you with a omoplata. Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? So I already had a taste of that for a long time. You know what I mean? I've seen how the UFC has developed their machine. It's one hell of a machine, y'all. The UFC is everywhere. Global. And I'm talking about they're touching down everywhere. They have UFC everywhere. Can't wait to what's coming to boxing, bro. Shout out to the champy this morning. Jamal McCann says, LOL, Canelo kills Bud on resume. No doubt. Hell yeah, bro. He hit him with the shotgun Mossberg of boxing and shit. Boom! And you see how my boy Crawford was feeling. He was like, damn, how he playing me in front of the big homie Shaq. Canelo said, Ricky Burns, that's not elite. That's not elite. Let's continue with this shit, man, because this shit gets a lot. It was a fun 21 minutes, I think this podcast lasted. Let's see what else was said in this particular exchange.
That's
It
for
may
sure.
be. It may be. Maybe.
I hope he pay you enough.
But you know, after fighters fight me, they ain't never the same. So I just hope
Yeah.
your career continue.
If you look
afterwards.
my career, never same after me. They
But-
never same.
But if you had Canelo's resume,
So who are they talking about, right? Who was never the same? Again, like, who can we go back? I mean, look, Victor Postal. Once Terence Crawford fought Victor Postal, he wasn't the same champ. You know what I mean? That's when he was an undefeated fighter prior to fighting Terence Crawford. So when we got into seeing Victor Postal, and you know, we're taking Victor right now because obviously they was one of the ones that Canelo shot down. Shot down. Yeah, Henry Lundy. All right. Look. Terence Crawford, he was undefeated. 28-0 fighter. Victor had gotten just KO'd Lucas Martin Matisse. You know what I mean? And any of the other names, you're not going to know. Because them people from Kiev, somewhere in Ukraine, I don't even know where they're from. Obviously not from around here. Henry Lundy, who the hell is Henry Lundy? Oh man, Henry Lundy, yeah, damn, he fought Lundy. Well, he won a unanimous decision against that before that. So yeah, we could argue that Victor Postal wasn't really the same after Terence. I mean, he had several losses afterwards. So yeah, you could actually say that. Shit, we could actually say Victor Postal wasn't the same, champs. Yikes, you know. Who else did Crawford dispose of? Right? Let's compare guys. I mean, Israel Madrimov is still the same. He's out here kicking ass. Not too worried about Madrimov. You know what I mean? You saw the fight he had with Virgil. That shit was a good fight. So I'm not going to say he's messed up. Earl Spence. All right, he retired Earl Spence. I don't know, man. I mean, Earl had gotten into an accident. I don't know if he was truly the one that put Earl on the bench. David Avanesian, what can we say about David, man? David's always there when we need him. Always willing to take a hard fight, but not the youngest fighter, and not the most dangerous, right? So I don't know if he put him to sleep. Avanesian, he comes in and out. It's like they call him and shit. You guys ever saw Gladiator? Number 1, because Gladiator 1 was the best one. I don't even know. I don't even think I've ever seen Gladiator 2. But if you've seen Gladiator 1, when they call that one warrior and shit back to try to kill Russell Crowe, big dude and shit, they had to call him back. That's David Avanesian and shit. They call him back every now and then and shit. Sean Porter, damn, he did. But he was catching Sean on the way out. But that was Sean's last fight, That was Sean's last fight. So we can say maybe that he was on his way out, or did Terence Crawford retire him? Kell Brook definitely put an ass whooping on him. Crawford definitely put an ass whooping on him. But Kell Brook was also already kind of hurt, right? Okay, Aegis Kavalaskas. I don't know if Aegis was doing too bad afterwards. I guess you can say he was kind of not the same. Remember, Terence Crawford is catching these guys undefeated too, I think. Let me see if Terence had caught him undefeated when he fought Aegis. Let me see. Well, okay. Cabalaz, look, Mean Machine was dangerous. We knew he was dangerous. But Mean Machine obviously was able to come back, have a couple of fights. All right, look, we can say that Terence Crawford put some of these guys away. He hurt them. But let's go now to Canelo Alvarez, bro. Canelo put a lot of guys out, bro. Who got hurt more? Crawford's opponents or Canelo's opponents? Let's compare these resumes, bro. Y'all scared. Shout out to the chat. Super active. Let's see what we got here. Got my man Jamal McCann says, Bud thinking about that shit. He's big mad. He's going to be thinking about that shit until fight night. Can't wait. Hell yeah. All this shit's going to be itching, bro. And if you know Crawford, bro, Crawford not taking none of this shit lightly. Crawford's the guy that's going to take all that shit in, ball it up, turn it into a fireball come fight night. Clarissa Turcio says Gamboa wasn't the same. Yeah. Ellie's setback wasn't the same. Yo, Ellie's setback. Chill. Shout out to Carlos Cruz Castillo on the early morning road work here on the Boxing Biz Podcast show. Covering some of this Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford PR lead up. Looking good out here too, man. Again, we're getting a super PR push now that the machine, the ghost in the machine, Dana White is involved. And obviously my man Turkey, Big Bag, Alex Sheik, making sure that these fighters are promoting the fight the most so you could get that good lead up, man. I don't know. You think this fight is breaking numbers? You think this fight is going to be able to top Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? If you do think so, throw 100% emoji on the chat. If you guys think that this fight will outperform Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, throw 100% emoji. If you don't think that this fight will outperform Jake Paul, put a thumbs down. I want to see how the boxing public feels about this because there's a lot obviously being done to push the fight. Shout out to Carlos Cruz, says Crawford catches them in retirement. Mean Machine got robbed, a knockdown. And you know what? Now that you say that, Carlos, you know what I mean? Terence actually said that in the interview. He wasn't even trying to, sugarcoat it. He spoke on that. And Gamboa, too. He spoke on both those things. Just because it's free. Thumbs down for Clarissa Turcio. My man Jamal McCann says 100%. All right. So we got 100%. So we got a 50-50 right now if I'm going by what's getting thrown in the chat. Carlos says, everyone has Netflix nowadays, even my dog. That's funny. He got his own little spot too. Cheer. But let's go back because we ain't done yet. There was a lot of shit talking in this interview and a lot of little things to pick on and talk about. Let's get back to it.
You think they would consider you an all-time great?
Canelo got a great resume. I'm not going to take it away from him. He's fought a lot of great champions. But, at the age that he fought him in, they was already on a decline with some of them.
Yo, Crawford trying so hard to downplay Canelo's resume. He don't even want to hear himself say the shit he's saying right now. He said they were all old. And we got to go back now to see who he talking about, y'all. Some of them. Because he tried to clean it up. He was like, yeah, he fought all old guys. And then he was like, some of them. Come on, Champy. Stop playing. That resume is sharp. That resume is good, bro. And we could look at Canelo's resume right now. Who are you talking about was old? We could go back 5 fights. Who you talking about? Who you talking about? Edgar ain't old. We ain't even going to talk about William. We're going to go back down the line. 5. Top 5. Or the last 5 fights. William Skull, was he old? No. Edgar Berlanga? No. Jaime Munguia? No. Jermell Charlo? No. John Ryder? No. What he gonna say? Gennady Golovkin was old? Come on, champ. I mean, Gennady Golovkin had miles on him already. What y'all talking about? Y'all gotta make sure that these fighters ain't just talking bullshit. Because remember, they're gonna talk bullshit to each other anyway. Where is this old ass fighter? I'm not finding him. I'm on some Carmen Sandiego shit right now, looking for this old fighter that Crawford talking about. The past his prime, whatever he want to call it. Let's go back. You heard him say it. It's not like I'm saying it. I'm not the one saying this stuff, right?
You know, they was already on a decline. Some of them.
They was already on a decline. Some of them. I'm still looking for some of them.
I'm not going to take it away from him. He's fought a lot of great champions, but, you know, at the age that he fought them in, you know, you know, they was already on a decline. Some of
them. Bro, where? Where, Crawford? Where? Dimitri Bivol. I already went back. How many fights? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? Look, he lost to Dimitri Bivol, bro, but you saw what it was, man. That was trying to be great. Who, Caleb? We going back. Who did he fight that was too old? Billy Joe? I mean, who are we talking about? We going way back? Was it Daniel Jacobs that was too old or on their way out? I don't know. We could argue about that. Let's go back further. Who is he talking about? Liam Smith. Who is he talking about? Amir Khan, Miguel Cotto? Is he talking about Miguel Cotto? I mean, because, you know, Miguel Cotto was, you know, at the tail end during that time. And, I mean, some of these fights are going to happen like that anyway. You're always going to have those, you know, old elite fighters that are, you know, on their way out that'll take a fight. Look at my man Pacquiao, even though Pacquiao's coming back from retirement. But, you know, some of these fighters that were super elite, you know, and they were getting set up into fights where, you know, kind of passing the baton sort of thing. And if you're talking about maybe a Miguel Cotto, maybe I can believe that. But who else? He far as Landy Alada still fighting. Oldest champion we got. So you can't even say that he was old and not official. Who, Angulu? Who, Floyd Mayweather? Who you talking about, champ? Shane Mosley? Who are you talking about that was old and on their way out? I didn't get that from Crawford. Throw something up there. Matter of fact, let me go back to the chat. See what the people are saying. Champ. Let me see what my man Carlos Cruz says. Crawford talking about his resume and didn't realize it until he started running his mouth. That's what I'm saying, man. I think he was up there. Look, man, Crawford was just trying to stand on business. He was trying to protect his shit too. And just Canelo shit talking has gotten it to level Super Saiyan 4 lately with his English. Jamal McCann says, LOL, the last fight aren't elite. Those motherfuckers are club fighters. He talk about old elite. I went down the line, cleaning it up. Mosley, Cotto, those are old elites. So we talking about them, Jamal. We talking about them. Like, that shit's you're gonna have fights like that. You're gonna have fights like that, bro. Old elite champions on their way out. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like they weren't competitive. I mean, when he fought Miguel, talking about Miguel Cotto, bro. Legend status, bro. Incredible boxer. You saw when Cotto fought Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather seen it ain't like the way he was getting touched up in that Cotto fight. I'm telling you. That Cotto fight was not an easy fight for Floyd. And if we go back and see when Floyd fought him, it's obviously, damn, when you look up my man Floyd, he got that 50-0, bro. That shit look clean. That 50-0 look clean on that record, bro. No wonder these young ass fighters trying to keep that shit. That shit look good. So you telling me, hold on. I said, hold on. Jamal, you trying to say that Miguel and Mosley, right? But we're going to stick to Cotto right now. That Cotto was on his way out. So you trying to tell me that Floyd Mayweather fought Miguel Cotto when Miguel Cotto was already on his way out? Is that what you're trying to say? Because Miguel Cotto and Floyd Mayweather fought in 2012. And if you look at my man Canelo, he fought him a year later. So what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Where he at? Matter of fact, let me make sure. All right, so he fought him 3. My bad, it wasn't a year later. He fought him 3 years later. Tato. All right, he fought him 3 years later. And I don't know how old Miguel was, but he fought him 3 years later. So I'm okay. I mean, when you're talking boxing years too, I guess 3 years can be a little, it can be impactful, to say the least, right? Lemon water. Hold on. Yo, lemon water is the best, dog. It's like electricity. So he fought him 3 years later. That can be argued. I don't know if he was like totally messed up. You know what I mean? Fought him 3 years later. But like Canelo at that time, he's the young champ, right? He fought Mayweather too. He was young. He was the one coming up. Of course, he was going to catch some guys a little later. But we're talking Miguel Cotto. We're talking Miguel Cotto that also went, 12 rounds. And you go back and look at the fight, bro. It's a good fight. Good fight. Didn't look like Miguel, Miguel was still able to box very well and, go out on losing the decision. Clarissa Turcio says Bill is elite. I know, but, Jamal said that ain't the parameters that we supposed to be looking at. But he's elite. And if you want to argue that Canelo Alvarez is caught fighter, like some elite fighters at the tail end of their career, all right, maybe that's your opinion. But look what he's done for you lately. And he's older. Fighting, it's not that he's fighting guys that are on their way out that I'm trying to prove a point here with. I'm trying to prove a point that Canelo's on his way out, and he's still fighting these elite-ass fighters. Fighting Bibble, trying to be great, going up to 175. Come on, man, I want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear this shit. Let's go back to the tape, nigga. Stop playing with me.
Of him, and when he didn't, you see what happened. He fought Laura, and I thought Laura beat him. He fought.
Damn, he said I thought Laura beat him. Y'all hating ass Canelo fucking haters. I know y'all running with that. Every time y'all want to throw shade at Canelo Alvarez, you know what y'all gonna throw at him. Eslandi Lara. That's all y'all got for Canelo. Like y'all don't know how to count body shots and shit. Shout out to my man Jamal McCann on the return. Says, I agree. Those are my greats. I don't give him credit for those fights. Wow. Those are my greats. No credito. Jamal says, not me. I love those guys and give him credit, but that's what he's talking about. I give him credit. All right. Say that. Clarissa says, Lara and Triple G beat him. Not gonna lie, I was there. I was there for both fights, actually. I thought the first one, Gennady, I thought Gennady pulled it off. The second one, I kind of gave it to Canelo. I think he had done enough and had proven that he had kind of surpassed any of the fear or aggression that Gennady could have had success with. I think Canelo covered that on the second one. I could agree for the first one, though. It was a good time, too. Good times. But I digress. Let's keep going.
Mayweather, you see what happened. He fought Bivol when he went up and tried to be great.
Yo, you see how he caught himself, right? He caught himself. Bro, how you trying to throw shade at the super champ and then you retracting? He had to retract on that one. He had to. He's mentioning all champs. Fought Floyd Mayweather. You saw what happened. Yeah, he lost to the TBE, the best ever. Along with a bunch of other dudes who lost to TBE. So it ain't really that bad. You know what I mean? Let's go back, man. I think, and then he tries to catch himself. That's what I'm trying to do. That's right, champ. That's what you're trying to do, champ. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be great. Take that back. Champ.
Or beat him. He fought, Mayweather. You see what happened. He fought Bivol when he went up and tried to be great like I'm doing. And, he came up short. When he fought my boy from Texas, they gave him problems. But, it is what it is. I got the style.
When he fought his boy from Texas. He talking about Jermel? What didn't he do? What didn't Canelo Alvarez do in that fight? If y'all can't see me, I'm doing the question mark face. Like, where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? What are you talking about? Let me fall back real quick, man. Shout out to Jose Garcia. Shout out to the champion. Early morning road work here on the Boxing Biz Podcast show. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Facebook, YouTube, X, and IG family. Let's go. Holy cow. Well, shout out to the IG family. I wasn't even live. Damn, was I live? Yeah, I was live. Of course I was live. What are you talking about? Maybe I wasn't live. Damn. Yeah. So shout out to the IG family. Forgot to tap the live button on IG. So hopefully you guys are just tapping in with us now. I mean, if you weren't, you can always go back and see the show. I was daggone near an hour already in the IG family. Definitely did not catch none of that. But we shall continue. Jose Garcia says, Alex, the best defensive possibly, not TBE. Looks like we got the hater. Yo, Jose says, nah. So, all right, so put in the chat who you think is the TBE. All right, champ. Now that you stated that Floyd is not the TBE possibly, but possibly the best defensive fighter. I want to see your best. See what that looks like. And listen, it's your opinion. Obviously, just a lot of people feel like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was the best. Something Mike, so it's all good. Clarissa Turcio says Khan beat up Canelo's fist with his jaw. Yeah, it wasn't nothing happening there either. Nothing happening there. Let me see what Jamal got to say. Jamal McCann says, right, he lost to the elites, Mayweather and Bivol. Bud is a top-tier elite that will beat him too. Yeah, I said it. Damn. Bro. Just fall back, champ. Your man's is little. Your man's is little, champ. He ain't got it. All right? It's going to be a crazy night that night for the Mexicanos, man. It's going to be a crazy night. And listen, I might be eating a nice crow pie. You know what I'm saying? But the way it's looking, bro, it's going to be one of those nights. But then again, you know, shit, anything can happen, bro. This is boxing. And this is why we love the sport. Sergio Jaime says nobody embarrassed more fighters than Floyd, but he's not the GOAT. He is the definition of the sport. There you go. Mayweather was small too. Mayweather's just Mayweather, man. Mayweather's just Mayweather, bro. Ain't nobody beating that guy. He's the best ever in this planet and any other boxing planet across the galaxy. But, yeah, I'm still waiting on what exactly my man Jose Garcia feels like is the best ever. And no, listen, I'm not judging, champ. I want to get your pick. All right? Let's go back to the tapage. Let's see.
I got the heart. And I'm not going to sit around and, play no games with Canelo, because he's not going to play no games with me. And it's going to be a good fight. And I'm excited.
Always wanted to ask a fighter this.
Bro, he sounded like Ryan Garcia when he was at the presser. He's like, I'm strong. And listen, I'm picking at Terence right now, right? But remember, this episode was recorded prior to the Williams Skull fight, okay? So please do not confuse the attitudes and I guess the conduct of both of these fighters in a future state. Remember, this was prior. So we're catching this podcast, and this happened prior to the Williams Skull fight, prior to the pressers. This is not a podcast that was recorded after the pressers that we've seen. We've already seen the evolution of both these fighters' conduct around each other. So just, FYI, so you guys kind of get a sense of the timeline here with this podcast. So I'm not judging or speaking on it in a future or a present state, right, of what's going on in the conduct between these two fighters when they see each other or when they're in these sit-downs. This is prior to the Williams Skull fight, so it's just giving me like a backstory on how it kind of started, right? This was before the Turkey Al Sheikh dinner, right? Remember, all this stuff happened prior to these things. So it's kind of fun to see this and how it's developed to what it is now, both these men facing each other off and Crawford kind of, walking them down and then the shove. So this is the evolution of this. And I really like the way it's looking, right? Because from what we're getting here, it's we're seeing a Terence Crawford that was kind of, not going to say timid, but was in his beginnings of these interviews and these pressure, because it does cause a little bit of pressure, man. Believe it or not, these media these media obligations can weigh a fighter down. And if you're used to it, you're used to it. Floyd was all day, every day, used to it. Guys like Canelo, used to it. Any guy that's, gotten up to that super elite status, they've been used to this stuff. And even though Crawford has fought some pretty good guys and has been in huge fights and sold tickets and all that, I think the grandeur of this fight is fairly new to him, right? And he's said it plenty of times. This is his elite fight, right? His first big one. Clarissa Turcio sounded mad gringuito right there for a second. Clarissa Turcios. Canelo's resume is better, but Crawford is going to counter Canelo to death all night. Yeah, that 4-inch. And, and Shaq brought it up, too. 4-inch reach advantage, I think he has. That's a lot. But, one thing we know is that, reach can help you, but it's not really the end-all, be-all. But, reach like that on a guy like Crawford, that's dangerous. So, I'm not going to take that lightly for sure. Carlos Cruz says Crawford is running his mouth just like Berlanga did. We all know what Berlanga came for against Canelo. For a payday? Payday? Came for a payday for sure. But yeah, man, Shaquille O'Neal did bring that up. Something that we can, talk about more and more in the lead up to this fight. Something that I think is very important for Crawford to have too. You gotta have Crawford's gonna have to have this plan like at 100%. Like this plan is whatever they're gonna come up with to fight Canelo. It's got to include that jab, that jackhammer jab, that power jab. Crawford needs and has to use it. It's going to be his bread and butter. It's going to be his saving grace in that ring, that jabberoni. So I hope he's throwing jabs all day from both sides too, because Crawford likes to switch up. We're getting a lot with Crawford. I'm talking my shit. You feel me? You see the Canelo headband right there. I support Canelo. But I'm not sleeping. I support Terence too. You feel me? Terence is a hell of a fighter. One of the best ever to do it. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm saying you got to draw the line sometimes. Pick a side. Stand for something or stand for nothing. So I'm standing on the Canelo side, especially because I know he's been at that weight all day. You know what I mean? Clarissa says, I won't be surprised if Bud gets stopped. That's a possibility. Huge possibility. Speaking about that Berlanga fight too, Carlos, man, that's gonna be a firefight in itself. Like Shiraz, he's got a gift, bro. He knows the gift he got, and he's definitely got to win that fight. I think there's more. I mean, there's pressure on both fighters, but man, if I'm Shiraz right now, I'm like, bro, I can't let the Prince down. I can't let the honorable Turkey Big Bag Ali Sheik down. That's gonna be a big firefight. Berlanga can't lose either. All the shit talking the bro's been doing, pointing the gun at that dude like, yeah. Did a lot. So I'm expecting Berlanga to go in there and straight up ice him. And this interview was, like I said, guys, the resume back and forth was one of the highlights in the interview. Getting to see Crawford in the beginnings of this promotion, right? Remember, this happened before Williams Skull fight. So this is all, and it's crazy because I think we're going to be getting a lot of this, pre-recorded kind of things being aired. There's just so much going on. And, of course, you have to be considerate to the fighter's schedule as well. There's only so much you can push, without disrupting a fighter's camp. So this is like kind of everywhere, with the way they're producing these shows and these promotions, wherever they may be. But let's take a look at what else was said with Shaq.
The matchup is taking place. How long do you hold that animosity? Does it, like, if it's announced in November, are you keeping that animosity in November, or do you chill out like a week, or does it start when you enter into training camp?
There's no animosity towards Canelo at all. I'm a fan of Canelo. I've been watching him for a long time, and for me it's just business, but it's the competitive nature in me to like get like right now, like I'm just ready. I'm ready to go.
Said I'm just ready. I like Crawford, man. He's not a talker, bro. That's one of the things that why I like the guy. Not just as a fighter, but as a person, right? I can relate to that. I don't like talking too much. Yeah. I could be a peacemaker, right? But gets to a point where it's like, let's just fight. I don't want to talk no more. Fuck out of here.
Train and just prove the world wrong.
Yo, why Canelo got this face? Like everything he's saying is bothering him. Man, bro, body language. Take a look. Take a look at Canelo's face when he's saying what he's saying. Look, Canelo look like he don't even want to be there.
Train and just prove the world wrong. Like I've been doing my whole career. All the doubters and the naysayers. And
yo, why everybody looking at Crawford like they don't believe him, bro? Look at Dana. Everybody Everybody's looking at Terrence like, are you sure, bro? Are you like sure? Look at Dana.
The people that think I can't accomplish what I set my sights on to do. And
Yo, why Tom Brady looked away like, yeah, sure. Oh man, bro. I wonder how long this interview actually took, bro. Man, looks like it's a little cold. Ain't it summer out here? Damn. Well, that was William Skull. So maybe this was before May. So this interview probably happened April, January, February. You know what? Trying to get a sense. When did this actually look, I was trying to look up to see when it was produced, but I couldn't get. Maybe you guys can kind of get it for me. If you guys maybe got an updated, I guess, answer on Google, but I couldn't get an exact production date. This happened before May fight with William Skull, so maybe it was still cold up there. You see, they got the my man got the puff jacket on. You know what I mean? So you know it was cold up there. So when did it exactly happen? Man, we could go back as far as March maybe. Who knows? But these guys got jackets. Ain't nobody wearing no jacket out here in New Jersey, New York, tri-state area right now. It's hot. It was like 98 yesterday. It was super hot. Crazy out here. So it gives you a sense of when the hell this shit was actually recorded. I go back to the chat. Shout out to everybody tapping in with us. IG family, if you're just catching us now, man, we've been on for an hour. So if you want to catch the the earlier part of this program, just go to YouTube and tap in with us there, and you'll be able to see all the stuff that we've been talking about. All right. And again, Facebook family, shout out to you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Everybody, YouTube family, don't cost you a daggone thing, man. Just hit that like button. Smash. Hit that notification bell if you like what you're listening to. So every time we go live, you guys, see that little bling pop up from the Boxing Biz. And of course, tell a friend to tell a friend about the program. Remember, this is your show as much as mine. I get up here for the community. Been doing this for a long time. Some of you known me for a long time, working with different outfits, right? And just trying to do it big here, as this is what I love to do. And hopefully we could get these subscribership up, man. I know that I've kind of been a little bit teetery, or I don't know if that's the right word, but off and on with the scheduling. But as of late, we've been on the money. And yesterday was actually one of the first days in like 3 weeks that we didn't do a program in the morning. And that was because I was playing Bob the Builder, guys. All right. Had to go build shit at my in-laws. So, I couldn't make it. But shout out to the in-laws for always giving me all the good food. Every time I go to my in-laws, bro, no matter what I'm doing over there, I get a serious plate of food. Shout out to my mother-in-law who be making like the craziest Brazilian sweet treats. I don't know if you guys ever had Brazilian sweets, but man, that's part of the reason why I got to hit the gym so I could keep having more of those. Anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the actual chat. My man Jamal says, I ain't gonna lie, Berlanga better win with all that cash shit he be talking. Bro, he better cash in on all that shit come fight night. And then, now that I'm thinking about it, Shiraz's got a lot of pressure on him, and that's for sure. But I think Berlanga for a long time, bro, has carried that cash cow on his back. He always got a fucking pressure to perform. You know what I mean? He's got a whole city on his back, bro. Got a whole, he got PR. He just got a lot on his back, bro. So I hope, the good Lord is giving him that fortitude, mental and spiritual, bro, because it ain't easy. Especially when you're talking that much, caca. Jamal McCann says, gotta love Canelo. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I remember when he first started talking shit, man. Canelo at that presser when Boo Boo tried to come in and talk his way into a fight. Get the fuck out of here, man, or I'm gonna fuck you up right now. Call me off. God. Clarissa Turcio says Tom Brady doesn't know anything about boxing. He probably thought Canelo was Oscar and Bud was Floyd. Blah! Damn, give the GOAT a little bit of credit. Give him a little bit of credit, champ. Sergio Jaime says, you're not even lying. He sound nervous. It's his first big fight. He just started pay-per-view fight a few years ago. He never had a mega fight till now. Canelo with just the Triple G trilogy outshined Terence. Facts. It's the big field, bro. It's different. That's why you see the way Canelo's conducting himself in his like Canelo's like whatever, bro. Like what are you talking about? And the confidence that I'm seeing is there, but I'm not trying to put too much stake on it, right? Because I know the type of person Terence Crawford is. Obviously, I don't know the guy personal, bro, but I'm a good read on people. And I know that the man don't like to talk too much shit. He want to handle business. You know what I'm saying? He want to prove it when he's in the ring. Never been a talk shitter guy. That's one of the things I actually liked about Terence. You know what I mean? He handled business and doesn't really, but like he's in a position right now where he has to sell the fight. I could only imagine the sit down dinner when they're talking to each other and Turkey's just telling them like, yo guys, we got to make this the biggest fight ever. I need y'all talking. I need y'all, in each other's face. Like I really need y'all to sell the fight, right? So, extra new shoes to put on, right, for Crawford in a big-ass fight like this. And like I said, I'm going to put some stake on the attitudes, but not too much. And since this was a pre-recorded episode, this is not what's going on now. This is not the energy right now. This was the prior energy, all right, before the Williams Skull fight, before the pressers. So don't get it twisted. Terence has come out now at the pressers with a little bit more pizzazz, a little moxie in there.
I don't know about Canelo, but I know come fight time, he gonna be in a fight that, he wasn't gonna be expecting.
For both of you guys, where does this fight rank in your careers?
It's gonna be one of the best fights in my career for sure. Like I say, he's a good fighter. He's gonna be one of the biggest fights in my career for sure.
It's crazy how Canelo goes back and forth between calling Crawford a good fighter and a great fighter. Like, which one is it, Canelo? Like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? And you go back during the interviews and even other interviews, the pressers, he goes in between. He's a good fighter, great fighter. Good fighter, great fighter. It's almost like Canelo's trying to give him credit, but he's not trying to give him credit. Like, Canelo's really cocky right now with this. Like, he's not. It's all like, I don't even think we ever saw Canelo like, not that he's not humble, but like we never seen Canelo kind of like not super confident. Maybe we saw it in the Floyd Mayweather fight, right? Maybe we saw a little bit of that confidence break a little bit in the Floyd Mayweather. Maybe. Right? Because you saw how Canelo conducted himself with Floyd. Floyd was super confident. He knew he was kicking ass and everything else. And Canelo's camp was also confident, but you see the difference. You see the difference right now. You're seeing it here too. You're seeing it here. Crawford sounds confident at times, but at other times it just doesn't seem like we're feeling that from him, right? But let's continue.
The biggest fight of my career. We all know that. It's no secret. I'm fighting a Hall of Famer, one of the best Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico. Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico.
Hola.
One of the biggest.
Did I just?
In my career.
He's cracking up a little bit. Look.
This is the biggest fight of my career. We all know that. It's no secret. I'm fighting a Hall of Famer, one of the best Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico. The respect is there. And I understand the magnitude of the fight, and I'm gonna give my all. So with 6 months to go,
said I'm gonna give it my all. Now y'all didn't catch any little bit of nervous energy right there, or is that just me talking shit? Y'all didn't catch a little bit of that nervous energy? I think it was a little bit of nervous energy there. Let's see what my man Tom Brady's saying, because a lot of y'all saying that Tom Brady ain't know nothing about boxing. I think he does.
Like with the training, when does that really pick up and you guys really get to work? I know you got a fight before that, Canelo. What about for you, Bud? When's that?
Well, right now,
When's the hardcore training start?
right now, I'm not training hard. I'm not even training, really. You know,
Now, look, he's not training, but that was during, remember, this is pre-William Skull, right? We got a September fight, y'all. We are in June. Let's just say we're in July. July, August, September, bro. That's 2 months. All right, so training already started. So this was around, we're going to say April. Maybe January, February, March. Maybe March this happened. So, yeah, that was already like, maybe it would have been 12 weeks out. Maybe more, actually. Yeah, 16 weeks out from the training. Obviously, he's already started training now. And they're both training already. But remember, what I like about Canelo, all right, guys, and, we could go back and forth and argue about this shit. Shout out to the whole IG family and Facebook and YouTube. I see some of y'all coming on. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us, taking a look at some of these weekend and Monday talks. We weren't able to be here in the morning, but we're just breaking down this G.O.A.T.S podcast sit-down interview with Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, Dana White, and, of course, the two champs, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, that they recorded in, I believe, around March, right? Just trying to get a sense for the energy and how it's shifted now and how these two fighters are conducting themselves as of late at the pressers. And we're seeing the evolution. I believe more of the evolution of Terence Crawford, because I feel like Canelo's just done this so many times. Big fight feel and confident. Like, nothing really changes for Canelo, but things are really huge for Terence. And you're getting to see his conduct and the way, he's talking, the way he's answering questions, and, of course, the way he's answering back to Canelo, right? Let's continue with Tom Brady, as he was asking some questions about training, right?
I don't want to overtrain, because me personally, when I go in the gym, I give my all, and I don't want to burn myself out. I want to save it all for the fight. So I'm just, chilling, doing a little strength work here and there. But other than that, my training haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
So a little training here and there.
You're training right now.
For 6 months. I have a fight in May.
So he had a fight in May for 6 months. Ooh, maybe we get a timeline there of when this was recorded. Let's just shift this back 2 seconds. See if I can get a sense of what he said.
But other than that, my training haven't even started yet.
Yeah. What about for you, Canelo?
Training.
You're training right now.
For 6 months. I have a fight in May, and then after that, I'm gonna maybe rest like a week and then start training again for September.
Oh. And this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. This is chess, not checkers. You got my man Canelo, who's been active. Now, I don't know why Bud might have agreed to this. Maybe because he was trying to get his weight up in order for him to be better prepared and acclimated with the weight. Maybe that's why he took, he didn't take any fights to try to stay active, right? Because at the end of the day, activity will keep you polished. Activity will keep you sharp. Activity will keep you, comfortable in the ring come fight night. And, he took a long time off, damn near a year, because if we're talking about August, Israel Madrimov fight, August 2024, yeah, we're talking about a year now that, Terence, not only did he take a year off, he also skipped the whole 160-pound division, you know what I mean? So there's that year. This last year is probably the most important year of Terence Crawford's training, right? In order for him to win a fight, right? He's going to get paid anyway already. Lemon water. But, it's been a long time, and Saul's been active. Even though that William Skull fight was culo. Such a culo fight, bro. My gosh. But he stayed active. I mean, running a marathon in there with Skull, but he stayed active. And to me, I'll go into my conspiracy theory thought, man. I'll tell ya. Because I don't know, man. Turkey, big bag Ali Sheik, man. The way he moving these chess pieces, bro. I don't know. He got the big bag to make the shift move. But, we've seen as of late that Turkey is siding with Bud, right? So it's like, I thought about it. I'm like, Terence Crawford, I don't expect him to be sitting there and trading with Canelo, right? He's going to be moving. So I thought to myself, I don't know if it was Canelo that actually picked William Skull, like out of like a basket of choices. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was the guy that just offered him. Don't know exactly how that happened, right? Or who the other fights that were mentioned there. But I feel like they had Canelo fight this William Skull guy just to try to get a sense of how he would do with a runner. Terence Crawford, I'm not saying he's going to run the whole fight, but he's going to have to run also. He's going to have to be on the back foot. Even though he's talking hella shit now, saying that he's going to be in Canelo's face and all that, I want to see that happen. I really do. But, fighting a guy like William Skull, Crawford got to see a lot in that fight. He got to see some of the things that did work on the back foot for William Skull. And obviously Terence Crawford, to me, is way more skilled than a William Skull. So, using that kind of, that example that William was given, so then he could go into a fight and maybe put something together for himself to go against Canelo. So, yeah, that was my little conspiracy that I thought that, maybe Big Turk kind of put that together so that, Saul could fight William Skull and, Bud could kind of see how that works, with that game plan. Because for the life of me, y'all, I don't know. William came out of left field. I didn't know too much about him. I'm like, why is Canelo fighting this guy? I don't know. But stylistically, it was a style that gave Canelo problems, where is Landy Lara. So it was something that I was just looking at, and I'm like, why is he fighting that guy, with that type of style? So, yeah, maybe it was something for Terence Crawford to kind of observe and pick up on. Shit, let me go back to the Chatty Patty, super live and in effect. See what we got going on here. Shout out to yeah, shout out to Sergio. We read that one. My man Jamal McCone says the only thing that matters is when they get in that squared circle. And I'm betting that he's going to look like he belongs on that stage. Yeah. Terence Crawford never lets down, bro. Never lets down. He's really tough on himself, too. So, I expect him to go in there and not be afraid and to do what he says he's going to do, right? A lot of guys talk shit. Say they're going to do this and that. And when they get in there, it's a run fest. Jamal McCann says Canelo will not glaze Bud, but he'll give him just enough credit. But he wants Bud to know they aren't the same. Great mind game. Yeah, these are mind games too, bro. These are mind games, man. Just like you said it, bro. These are mind games at these pressers. And, eventually they get to a point where they're real comfortable talking shit to each other. I think that's what we've seen as of late at the pressers. They're super comfortable talking mad shit to each other now. And you see Terence Crawford talking shit. He's like, only thing I'm going to be running is upside your head. And you got a big head, too. I was like, yeah. It has begun. This shit talking has begun. Because this Terence Crawford that we're seeing here is not the Terence Crawford we're seeing as of late at the pressers. Again, remember, y'all, this episode of G.O.A.T. Podcast was recorded probably sometime in March before the William Skull and Canelo fight. Can't say it enough, especially if you're just tapping in with us. Let's go back to the Facebook. Facebook. Sergio Jaime says he sound nervous as hell, mad shaky, but that could just be the spotlight. Boy, bro, I'll tell you, that spotlight will shake people up. Trust me, man. When you're getting behind the camera, is different. That's why I can't put too much stake on it too, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that some of us are just better in front of the camera. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to put light on this is that I'm not saying that he's super nervous and scared and all that. I'm saying that this real big fight energy can impact you. You ain't been here before, bro. This is the biggest. You said it yourself. You ain't been here before. So some of this nervous energy, it's not because I'm scared. It's because this big fight. I got Shaq next to me. I got Tom. I got some GOATs. We in the GOATS podcast. And, this is a big fight feel. It's just the way it is. Sergio Jaime says, hell T. He nervous. He's stuttering. It's like, nah, I know you meant to say hell yeah. Hell yeah, he nervous. He's stuttering. Y'all caught that. Yeah. He was stuttering, champy. See what my man Jose Garcia says. Alex, you train fighters and are okay with clinching, but Turkey, the savior of boxing, is not with the running. I don't think he has made his stance on excessive clinching. Fans are fed up. Bro, I don't care how many big bags you're going to throw at these fighters, bro. All right? There's one thing you're not going to be able to take away. That's the instinct of a human being trying to survive and win, right? In this case, it's a sport, right? You're trying to win, right? If it was in the streets, you're just trying to live. You're trying to survive. That's instinctual. However you were trained, you're going to try to survive. You can't expect fighters not to hold. I think, listen, we can't misinterpret what Big Turk is trying to do here, right? Big Turk, he's trying to make sure that like Jose says, he's trying to make sure fans get the best of the fights, but you're only going to have so much control. And like, who you talking about holding? What fights are we looking at? I mean, we know we're not going to get a whole fest with Canelo and Terence. Obviously, there's potential stylistic fights stylistically that can make fights really boring, right? But I'm more about the running, the holding. Listen, this is the sweet science, man. Clinching is part of it. You got to know when to clinch, but you got to know how to use the clinch. As fighters, man, we have to, and coaches too, right? And trainers should always constantly mention this to fighters. You're not just a fighter, you're an entertainer, right? Ultimately, we go with the first in line. You're a fighter. Job is to win, right? Entertainment is a part of it. Obviously, you want to entertain the crowd, but I'm not going to go get my face beat in to make you feel good while you're sitting your ass in the stands and shit. And I'm getting my face beat in. Not doing that. You know what I mean? If I got to clinch, I'm going to clinch. If I got to back up, I'm going to back up. If I got to run a little bit, I'm going to run a little bit. What we don't want to see is the shit that we saw with William Skull and Canelo Alvarez and Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. I don't care what the fuck y'all want to say about these fights, whether you some Devin fans or whatever fans y'all are at. The shit was whack. All right? Shit was whack. It was a whack-ass fight. No way around it. Stop trying to put lipstick on a pig. Some of y'all reporters out here be hanging off nuts. I'm telling y'all, man. Get the money bag out of your mouth. Because everything coming out of there look like it's sold. Stop playing. Shit is ass. Nobody want to see that shit. And again, it's not like I love the way Devin fights. I just didn't love that fight. You feel me? I never complained about the other shit. Because let me tell you something. Stylistically, I've been jumped. That hate train, I've been jumped off that shit with Floyd. When Floyd was fighting, I got into that little cart for a little bit where there was a bunch of haters and shit hating on Floyd and shit. I was part of that because I wanted to fight. But then you start to appreciate the sweet science. But you're going to entertain. See, Floyd always entertained. Even if it was him just making you look like you were an idiot in boxing in the ring, it was entertaining. Mike said it best. Mike said it. Floyd is not the guy that's going to beat you, knock you out. And he's going to just beat you up all 12 rounds and embarrass you. You know what I mean? But you're beating on him. You're not just running around letting one go every 2 seconds and every 2 rounds. But clinching is part of the sport, Jose. I don't mind with the clinching. Obviously, there'd be some clinch fest. I think that, these are things that need to be spoken about. See, everybody want to talk about, everybody wants to talk to the fighters. But Big Turk, man, you gotta bring in these referees, into the dinner table too. You gotta talk to these guys. You know what I mean? Gotta let them know we don't want none of that, that holding and shit. And points gotta be taken too, bro. There's gotta be points taken for running. Like, if you want to take points away for clinching, you gotta take points away for running, bro. Fucking running. That William Skull Canelo fight, like, bro, I don't know how the referee ain't say, bro, you run some more, I'm taking points. Should have took points on that shit, bro. Jeez. Jamal McCann says, as far as training, those camps are hard on the body from what I hear. So as an older fighter, less might be better. He's 37. At that elite level, Terence Crawford doesn't need to be in there killing himself, y'all. And I'm pretty sure with all the weight that he's packed on and all the, weight training and all the training that he's had to do in the last year, I'm pretty sure that his body's been active, super active, It's not like he hasn't been doing nothing. He's had to put on this weight. There's been a lot of work going on with Terence, bro. We don't even know if he's super injury free. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're in these camps, you're squatting. You feel me? And you seen Terence Crawford's legs. They got bigger, bro. Look at Terence Crawford evolution. You start to see his build. I should whip out some pictures of him right now. See if I can find them. But you start to see his head look different. Terence's neck look different. You look back a couple of fights, bro. A few fights, you see Terence Crawford's neck is a little stringier. You feel me? A little smaller. Shoulders a little bonier. You see him go into the weigh-ins. You feel me? He starts flexing. You're seeing that weight. He's packing it on the right way. It's a dangerous fight for Canelo, bro. That's why in the presser, when he tried to walk Canelo down, I was really trying to get a sense of what's going on because Dana White got his hands in the way. I don't know if he's pushing Canelo back too. I don't know if it was stomach to stomach, that these two were just stomach to stomach and Crawford was walking them down. But in this last presser, I feel like Crawford was directly, psychologically trying to send that message to Canelo like, bro, that you being big shit, it ain't going to be a big deal come fight night. And, the only thing we got that we can still say is the track record, right? That we can say that Canelo Alvarez is going to be just, too big for him because of the fights that we've seen him in and the things he's done to these bigger fighters. Now, some of these fighters, man, at 168, when they rehydrate, they damn near almost 200 pounds. So, we know what Canelo can do, but Crawford's come a long way from this podcast. Trust me. He's come a long way. Jamal McCann says the Skull fight was for the belt so that the fight will be for undisputed. They needed that belt. Thanks for the reminder, champ. It was about the belt. It was all about the belt. You are right. Jose Garcia's, he wanted the belt, Alex. My bad, champies. Forgot about that. It was the whole point. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason we got a William Skull anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he didn't have that belt, we would have never had a William Skull. And, this is how little I knew about William Skull, too, y'all. Like, I don't even know who he got the belt from. Did he get a vacant title, passed down? I have no idea who he beat for that. He beat Vladimir Shishkin. Is that who he beat? Holy cow. And that was the IBF, right? The IBF title that he had. Yes, it was the IBF. Okay. All right, well, there you go. Who the hell is Vladimir Shishkin? Who is that? Who are you? He fought Jose Uzgategi. Jason Minda. Don't know who the hell this is, but this is the guy he got the belt from, the IBF title. Yep. That's the guy. I don't know who the hell this guy is. Williams call came out of left field. Don't know what the fuck is that. All right, Sergio Jaime says, my concern for Crawford is he's been knocked down by some small dudes like Gamboa. Just imagine a clean Canelo shot. The crusher Kovalev. Yeah. And it's funny because, again, Terence mentions that here in the interview. Anybody could get caught, though. Yo, Gamboa hits hard, bro. Gamboa's a problem, bro. There's a reason why they bring out Gamboa, bro. They brought him out for Tank. They brought out Gamboa for a lot of these guys. Gamboa's a fucking problem, bro. He could punch. He could definitely punch. And, but that was 175. We saw Crusher gets crushed, right? That's a true 175-pound dude, bro. But we talking about Kovalev, man. Kovalev's stiff as hell. He's not moving like Crawford. We know what Kovalev had the jabby. You know what I'm saying? Kovalev had the little jabby jab that was going to help him out. That's all he had. He don't got the skills like Terence Crawford, for sure. My man Jose says, if you took the A side away from Floyd, it was a close fight. Deduct points or not allowing the excessive clenching Floyd did. Maidana wins. It's a super close fight, too. Sometimes you got to clench, though, man. You got guys like Maidana, rough and tough dudes, man. Look what Maidana did to Broner. And Broner was trying so hard to clench. Some guys you can't even clench, bro. They're just so rude. Rude in the ring, bro. You can't grab a hold of them. Jose Garcia's no bias. Floyd just a regular fighter. No A side. No cash cow. No Vegas bias. Hotel Stadium bias. Said Floyd just a regular. Nah, Floyd, bro, stop. Jose, stop. I'm starting to think Jose don't like. Jose's favorite fighter isn't Floyd. Blah! Coach Rivera says, come on, you can't. Everything on Skull. It's not his fault Canelo was scared to cut the ring, scared of a counter. There he goes. He's been activated, Coach Rivera.
Let's go, champ. You feel me?
Stop playing, champ. You're going to be one of the guys that tells me this that it was Canelo's fault? Stop the cappage. A.K.A. call you Capadonna. How the hell am I supposed to catch? Bro, you ever been in the ring with a guy that's just running? Like really running, bro. It's one of the most frustrating things. And I know that Canelo's supposed to have the skills. I know what y'all going to say. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Skull went to fucking run. All y'all talking about, he was supposed to cut a ring off. How the fuck am I supposed to cut the ring off when you got a guy that's dancing salsa in the ring, bro? My man was running football laterals in the ring. Like, how am I supposed? You're not even in the sport of boxing no more. You out here fucking doing football laterals. Fuck out of here. Fuck am I supposed to fight you if you don't even fucking, bro, dancing the whole fight? And Canelo tried to cut the ring off, bro. Y'all saw the fucking body shots he was throwing. But y'all forget about body shots. Y'all forget about these body shots like they don't mean shit. He was ripping the body. But when you got a guy like William Skull, bro, he was literally throwing himself back so hard to get away from Canelo, his hands would go up. Like, he would just jump back like he was jumping off backwards off a cliff type shit. Can't do nothing with that. Oh, he was supposed to cut off the ring. Bro, what do you want him to do? How much more cutting do you want to do? Try to cut the ring off. Shit. Guy wasn't there to fight. He was there to run. Good morning to you too, champ. Shout out to Coach Rivera, bro. But chill, champ. It was Skull. I'm going to blame it all on Skull. My man showed up to fight. Skull showed up to run. Like, look, I would have gave Canelo some shit too, man, if, like, you know, if I would have seen a little more punch output from Skull, you know, if I would have seen more jabs being thrown, maybe a couple more uppercuts, you know what I'm saying? A couple more uppies hitting, you know what I mean? Then I would have been like, okay, you know, Canelo's having trouble cutting off the ring. Skull's catching him, jabbing him, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like that. It was just run. It was like Forrest Gump all day. Run, 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 run. Run. Coach Rivera says, I mean blame. Playing the blame game. Jose Garcia said, he was good, Alex. I'm just never recognizing TBE. Yo, champ. Totally entitled. You know what I'm saying? Totally entitled. I mean, I think there's a difference also between you saying it's the best fighter, that, you know, Floyd was the best fighter, or maybe he just wasn't your favorite fighter. Maybe you got a favorite fighter. Right? But like when you start putting shit on paper, like Floyd's fucking resume, the way they set this guy's career up, it's just like, it's like one of a kind. Like the way he did it, the way he said, yo, I'm only fighting champions, the way he did it on paper, bro. I'm sorry, on paper, he's the best. I can't even argue it, bro. I was one of the guys that argued that. He runs too much. He doesn't do this. Fuck, bro. Boxing is boxing. It's sweet science. I'm just like, shit. I can't even argue this shit. It's on paper. He did it. He did it the best way. But if as far as favorite fighter, nah, I'm not gonna say he's my favorite fighter. Shit, man. I know. I guess growing up, what really got me interested in boxing was Mike Tyson, man. Growing up and seeing my dad. I mean, I liked Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. too, and you know, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was like huge, you know. Especially for all the Latinos too. We, you know, I used to just watch my dad, you know, all the friends and everybody, uncles coming over and watching the fights. And but what got me going was Mike Tyson, man. I remember Mike Tyson just knocking guys out. My dad getting mad because he would pay. I think in that time, dude, damn. I think a pay-per-view fight was probably like $20 or $30, if I remember right. A pay-per-view fight back then was probably like $20, $30. Who remembers the $20, $30 pay-per-view days? That was way back. And, you know, obviously inflation and everything else, you know, $20, $30 pay-per-view is not happening now. But back then it was like, you know, you spent some money on that. And then you would just hear like Mike Tyson just knock these guys out in 1 or 2 rounds. You see my dad just like, Dad, I paid this money just to see one round. But he'd be thrilled, though. He'd be so souped up. You know, everybody jumping out their seats and shit. And I'd be like, damn, that's the guy right there, Mike Tyson. Fucking knocking guys' heads off. Clarissa Turcio says, I don't think there is one best fighter. That's a reasonable opinion. I can agree with that. It's just a bunch of great fighters over the years, man. I think that, you know, fighters have such unique stories too. That goes along with the whole, like, I guess, aura of the story behind each fighter. Let's see. Jose Garcia says, Alex, it matters how you win, and even Manny beat common opponents better. You know what? For the fans, it does matter, bro. But as you can see, you know, to the fighters, they just want to win. To some fighters, they want to win a certain way. So it depends. It depends on the fighter and what type of legacy you're trying to leave. You know, you got a lot of fighters, bro, that, you know, nowadays especially, they're in it for the money. You know, we're all in it for the money. We're prize fighters, right? If we're in this business, right? As a fighter, you're a prize fighter. But, you know, what kind of legacy you're trying to leave behind, that's up to you. You know? At the end of the day, if you really care about it. Obviously, Floyd didn't care too much about leaving a legacy of, you know, him getting punched in the face for your entertainment. Floyd decided that he was going to take control of his career in the later stages and not get hit, and still put on big shows. I mean, we all turned up for Floyd. A lot of us turned up to see him lose. Clarissa says, because we can't compare fighters with past fighters, that would have over 100 fights compared to now, that we are lucky if they fight twice a year. Yeah, different times too. For sure, different times. And you go back and you look at some of the fighters that were in the old days, right? And, not too old. We won't go back too old. They want to go back to, like, my man Sugar Ray Robinson. Probably, like, to me, my stylistically is the best fighter. Sugar Ray Robinson. Just the way he moved, the angles of his punches, and the amount of freaking fights he had. Those guys were fighting guys a lot more often, and we can go back and forth with the whole, but they were fighting tomato cans. They were fighting like 3 tomato cans a month. And, I mean, I don't care who you're fighting, bro. You're active. You're active and you're fighting. You're putting on shows. And you're leaving behind a legacy of, like, I don't know, hundreds of fights. Some of these guys back then were fighting a lot, bro. A lot. And they stayed active. Yeah, some guys were there to get knocked out. But they would stay super active. Clarissa says, read that one already. Coach Rivera says, I'm not blaming Canelo, but part is also him. I didn't saw no cutting. I saw him catching to him and throwing body shot, but literally Skull didn't want to fight just to survive. Yeah. Look, man, and just so we're clear on this too, Coach, man, like, I can probably put some blame, right, at times, because there was situations in the ring where I was like, damn, bro, like, maybe Canelo should be trying to pick up on a pattern or something. And I went back and I watched the fight again, right? Because, I like to study fights. If you guys didn't already know, like I also train, and I like to train, and I like to really get into the actual tactics, the tactical side of fighting. And so when you go back and you look at some of these things and you try to see where these errors were made by each individual fighter, I'm not going to say I didn't see some times where Canelo could have, maybe had a higher boxing IQ and maybe try to set traps and things like that. But when I go back and I watch the fight, it's almost impossible. Like, it was just too much. I don't know how we get William Skull back in the ring. I think William Skull is retiring and off into the sunset with whatever money he made. Because how he comes back from a terrible-ass performance like that, and then, to be liked by the fans, I don't know how he comes back from that shit. Coach Rivera said there should be a rule: if you're moving but not trying to set a punch or a counter, or not attacking at all in 2 rounds, take a point. After 4 rounds of the same, stop the fight. I like that. Bro. I don't know if that's like matter of fact, I'm going to leave that up. Let's go, champ. I'm going to leave that up right now. So Coach Rivera is suggesting, right, and this is what we talked about earlier, bro. There's got to be something that they can do to be able to, like, get a hold or a control on some of these fighters that just want to run around, man. There's got to be something. This is what I'm saying. Big Bag Turk got to sit down these referees, bro. They got to sit down these referees, and I like that idea. Not attacking for 2 rounds. Like, there should be like, I guess, a punch count. Why not? There should be a punch count where if you are not meeting a certain amount of punch output per round, like, we're going to take a point. Like, if your punch output is 20 punches, like, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that. We would have to get into averages too. Like, what's the average amount of punches being thrown per round, per fight? 50 punches a round. What's the limit? Like, there's got to be a limit, There's got to be a way to control that. And look, we're not trying to take away from what an actual fight would look like or needs to look like, right? Everybody has a different style, but there has to be, in order for this sport to move forward, right, and to be more entertaining, right, and to stop the diva boxing bullshit, we got to implement rules like this that are gonna basically, I guess, start the new wave, right, of regulations in boxing, right? You know, the sport's constantly evolving on the promotional, obviously on the fighters that are coming and going, but there should be like a punch count, right? A punch count, something. Obviously, and Sergio, I'll get to yours. Good point, right? I'll get to your message right now. Good point that you made there. I don't know how many Floyd was throwing, but we could go back to CompuBox and get comparables. But there has to be a certain number of punches being thrown. Obviously, if you're dipping and you're countering, a fight needs to look a certain way, right? I guess that, the suggestion that Coach Rivera is giving, it has to be polished up. It has to be quantified. Because like you said, there's some fighters that won't throw many punches, but they're dodging, they're deflecting, and they're maybe throwing a counter punch here and there and trying to win the fight. And in good measure, though, I think Coach is referring more to like these track stars, like super track stars. Clarissa says, let's be honest, Canelo does not have the gas tank to keep trying to cut off the ring. What you talking about, Clarissa? What you talking about? He don't got the gas tank, Clarissa. What you saying?
We shouldn't talk anymore.
Stop playing. Only time you see Canelo tired in the last few fights is probably with Bivol. Big as hell, though. He put on all that weight. And this is what I'm trying to tell you again. You saw how Canelo looked with Bivol, right? Yeah, Bivol had high output and all that good shit. But Canelo slowed down. He had went up to 175, bro. Trying to, when you got a high output, like a guy like Bivol, there's more shit to worry about, more things to do. And guess who's moving up in weight? Guess who has to worry about that? Terence Crawford. What I miss here? Let's go back. I'm going back to Cali. Damn, way back in the day, bro. My man Biggie Smalls, bro. I wonder what Biggie would be saying right now with all this Diddy shit going on. I haven't even heard about the Diddy trial. I don't know if you guys have even been up on it. It's kind of like for it to be a high-end trial, it's like, I don't know if we're in like the middle of this Diddy shit, but looks like they're not really talking about it no more. Don't be surprised, man. Diddy come out this motherfucker a free man. That boy got tapes, receipts on everybody. On everybody. Jose Garcia says Skull, Jermell, Lara would kill boxing. Floyd scored and not including him in this, but we know that boring ass style. Yeah, shit be boring. See, I like Lara though. See, I see the problems that Islandi Lara gave Canelo. That was good boxing. You got to see Lara, he was running, but Lara was also countering a lot. See, I didn't mind watching the Lara fight. I actually, again, a lot of us thought that Lara won until we went back and saw those fucking body shots that Canelo was landing. But see, a style like Lara that's on the back foot countering, see, that's more of like a puzzle to figure out. That's more Floyd Mayweather-esh, right? Those are guys that are fucking science teachers in that shit. You know what I mean? They're moving and counter punching and doing things in a way where you can't just sit there and be like, oh, he's running. No, motherfucker, he's boxing. And he's throwing punches and he's landing. Skull landed like 2 uppercuts on Canelo. 2 uppercuts, bro. And I don't know if it was because it was super amount of skill involved or because Canelo just said, fuck it, I'm going to take one to get in there. Try to see if I can fucking reach this guy before he hops back out in his Ferrari and starts driving around the ring. Sergio Jaime says 50 a round. Floyd doesn't even throw 30 per round. Damn. You sure about that? Sure about that? I don't know, dog. Because, like, if we go back, when can we go back and see Floyd throwing 20 punches or 30 punches? I can't remember that shit. Even though he was a defensive fighter. You know? I would have to go back and see what fight. Maybe in that Logan Paul fight. He had a 20-pound, 30-punch count. We could look at it, though. We could tap in, tappity-tappy, see what that looks like. Clarissa Turcio says, we will see Canelo fight like Lara if he ever fights Benavidez. Oh, shit. We all know who Clarissa got in that fight. And you know, and look, I'm not even done chopping it up with the interview. You know, I'm taking these like, you know, I'm going out the side door right here, right? We talking about a bunch of stuff, but we're not done with the with the interview too, because they definitely tap into some other little things that I want y'all to listen to. But let's take a look at some of these punches, man. Now that my boy Sergio, dang, it just reminded me of my childhood friend and shit. My man Sergio and shit. Portuguese dude. All right, look, bro. Juan Manuel Marquez fought him in September 19, 2009. Damn, we taking it back. Punches landed on Mayweather. All right. Landed 69 on him. Okay. So, okay, the punch output for the guys, actually, for the actual fighters. Let me see. All right. Let's see if we can. I think I had gotten actually the punch output that was landed on Floyd. Yeah. So Floyd, man, fighters get hit, bro. Imagine getting hit with 69 punches, bro. At the end of this punch stats, I don't think we ever take appreciation about how many punches these fighters take, bro. Damn, I'm looking at some of these CompuBox, and I know some of these fighters get hit way more than Floyd. Oh shit. I got the punch output that Floyd got hit with. So Juan Manuel Marquez hit Floyd with 69 punches in that fight. Let's see who else you guys know. Manny Pacquiao hit him with 81. Zab hit him with 89. But see, I don't want to know what they hit him with. I don't know what his. Let's see if we can get Floyd. I want to know what Floyd did. I don't believe that 30 punch shit that Sergio talking about. I don't know where you get that number from, champ. Pulled that shit out the Indian in the cupboard. Fuck is you talking about? Lowest lamps in for Floyd Mayweather. And okay, let's see. Let's see if you right. Talking about 30 punches per round. Fall back, small back. All right, let's. In the meantime, while I look this up, shout out to Coach Rivera. Says not really to put a mount, but show effort in attacks because I like the hit, don't hit, but the phrase say hit. But see how we're supposed to. How do we go about and tell a fighter that he has to throw more? But then, like, this is what I'm saying. We got to put something in place in the regulatory aspect of the boxing game where fighters, it's like, you know, it has to be as clear as, like, when the referee comes and tells you don't hit above the belt line, this is good, this is not good. There has to be something. And you know the referees talk to these fighters prior to the fight beginning, right? Goes in there, tells them exactly what kind of style refereeing he's going to be doing. So there's got to be talks, man. And there has to be something that's put into play that can stand across the whole playing field. We can't just put some regulations down on fighters to make them more exciting that are gonna kind of you teeter back and forth and it applies to you but doesn't apply to you. We got to put something that's gonna be boom. All of you got to do this. That's why a punch output would be, you know, if you got to throw and I'm gonna put Sergio's number. If you got to throw 30, 40 punches per round, then you got to throw 30, 40 punches, which is still like in a little bit lower. And obviously the lower weight classes throw more punches. So things vary, right? From weight division to weight division. Punch output is usually higher at the lower weight divisions. That's what I'm trying to say. So just say, what? Clarissa said, what would Pun be saying about the Fat Joe lawsuit? Oh, shit. Damn. Clarissa just brought up the Fat Joe lawsuit. What you mean? You know, sometimes I be lost. They got a lawsuit going on? What the helly? What the helly? What the helly? Wow. I don't even want to read this. I didn't even know this shit was happening to Fat Joe. Damn. Shout out to Clarissa. Just put me up on game, bro. I didn't even know this was happening to Joey. That's some serious shit. Is it? I hope. Let me see. The provider information follow Terence T.A. Dixon. Of course, 1,007. Also on parent. My God. All right, Clarissa. You know I'm gonna tap into this on my downtime. Shit. Fat Joe's going through some shit right now. Brother. Phil, you know. Sins of the past coming to get you. I'll tap into that on my downtime though, Clarissa. Shit's pretty gnarly shit that they got him in there with. All accusations right now though. Fraud. And a bunch of other shit. I don't even want to mention yet because I got to get into the thick of things a little bit more. I actually like Fat Joe, man. Shit. I don't like what I'm seeing here, but fuck. You know, that would suck. If fraud, who cares? But like that sexual trafficking, what the fuck, shit's bullshit. Not Fat Joey. But let's continue talking boxing. Sergio Jaime says when T. Crawford went up to 158 in his last fight, he won, but it was a marathon and very difficult. Excuse me, you talking about 154 with Madrimov? Yeah, Madrimovy. And listen, Madrimov gave him some problems too, so don't get me started with that. Y'all act like, and then he was trying to, you saw him, oh man, I'm glad Max Kellerman back, man. Shout out to Max Kellerman, champ. When he told Terence Crawford, like, you know, in your last and most difficult fight with Israel Madrimov, Terence tried to play it off. Like, he was trying to play it off like Madrimov didn't give him a good fight. Stop the cap, champ. Stop the cap. Where we at? Kellerman put him out. So who else gave you a hard fight? Who gave you a harder fight than that? Terence ain't even know where to hide. It was like, well, if you thought that was difficult, then man. Come on, be honest, bro. That was his toughest fight. Fucking want to lie and shit. He always goes back to like Mean Machine and these other dudes. He must have been going through something during those camps because them motherfuckers wasn't the ones to make it difficult. You know, Madrimov is the one that he went all 12 rounds with besides Jose, and he almost took Jose out. Well, he went 12 with Victor too, so you know, and he did. I mean, he went 12 with a couple of guys, a few guys, maybe like 4 guys on the resume there. Ricky Burns, too, that he was clamoring about. He went 12 rounds with him. So, yeah, it's a few guys. Let's see. Yeah, he was less, Sergio, 154. Sergio says 36-12 is actually average. 36 what? 36-12 is actually average? Of what? Oh, for Floyd? Damn. That's crazy. Where you getting these numbers from, Sergio? 36 and 12 what? Bro, explain that math real quick. 36 and 12 is actually average. What, punches per round? Nah. Can't be, Champy. Can't be. Let's see what we got. Floyd Mayweather's lowest punch landing accuracy, his own connect rate, is a professional boxing match was 46%. 46. For what, though? Achieved in his bout against Saul Canelo Alvarez on September 14, 2002, where he landed 232 of 505 punches thrown. So do the math, Champy. You know what I'm saying? 505 punches over a span of 12 rounds, right? How much punches are we talking about here? Talking about 20, 30 punches. Fall back, small back. That's 42 punches, bro. That was his lowest, too. Lowest punching landing accuracy. So that's an average of 40 punches per round. And if we want to put Floyd Mayweather as the barometer for that, you know what I'm saying? If you want to put Floyd Mayweather as that limit, I guess, that we need to hit, because we all can agree that Floyd Mayweather was the one that was moving around all the time, right? That he moved the most. So for a fighter to move the way he was moving and still land 42 punches, and according to what I'm seeing on the stats here, it was 232 punches he landed that were landed out of 505 that he threw. All right, that's still good amount of punches being thrown. Now, punches thrown don't gotta. I'm not talking about that he gotta land 40, 50 punches per round. Just you gotta throw a certain amount. You feel me? We could set a bar 50. You have to throw at least 50 punches per round. I don't care how many you're landing. That's up to you. That's if you can land them or not. You know what I mean? But we definitely need a punch count a little higher than 20, 30. Nah. Now, if you're landing 20, 30, that's something else. How much are you throwing? Shout out to Made for TV. Yo, what's up, fam? Yo, what's up? You stopping by? Checking out the channel? Did you hit that like button? Did you subscribe? Bet you ain't hit that notification bell. See what I'm saying, Champy? Stop by. You do all that. You help out with the visibility of the show. And obviously, Dumatron been at this shit for 10 years already. It's about time Dumatron gets something out of it, man. And I'm trying to grow this community across all these platforms. Get back into it. We're on full throttle right now, too, man. So if you guys know, morning road work here at 7 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, IG, X family, right? Formerly known as Twitter. Catch me here 7 a.m. morning road work. Appreciate y'all to tap in with me too, man, because like I said, this is our community where we could build up and definitely start to do some pretty cool stuff. Got to get in the eyes of many, man, and open up that phone book pretty soon and get some interviews going on here. So again, guys, the more you communicate with me on the comments, the chat, stop by the IGs, and it'll get me going, right? Pretty soon start hitting these gyms. Remember, I'm on the east side here in Jersey, so I got New York, Jersey, got a couple of bros out here in many of the gyms, a lot of pros. I got to get out there and start doing my road work. And honestly, bro, I got to get back again. Yo, Dumatron's constantly trying to get in shape again. All right, because, I stopped for like a month, and I need to get back in the gym again. Had a good rest, though. Every now and then you need to, rest the body. But, ain't nothing like training in boxing. So I got to get back in the boxing gym. Shout out to my man, Roger Chance. We'll come visit you soon, Champy. Sergio Hyman says, landed 12, thrown 36 over his whole career per round. Landed 12. Sergio, where you getting these numbers? Fuck. And is it per fight? Because you're saying now it's an average. Landed 12, thrown 36 over his career per round. I need to check that math like my algebra teacher did. Clarissa Turcio says, what did Castillo hit Floyd with? hit him with the fucking tortilla slap. Nah, he caught him good. That was a good fight. That's talked about all the time. Sergio Jaime said, just Google Floyd average punches per round. Damn. Sergio put that shit real simple. Google that shit, motherfucker. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Let's see if you're true then, bro. I mean, I could do that. You know? And that's per round, right? That seems low to me. You know what I mean? Punch. Let me see. Punch. Yeah. And I hope you put punch output per round. And this is across all the fights, is what you're saying. I just need to see it for myself because it seems a little low, champ. Seems a little low. Well, wouldn't you know? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Wow. Look at this guy. You're right. I'm getting an average 39 punches thrown per round across the span of all his fights. Man. So yeah, he's a little older, man. I mean, he's a little lower. So okay, so Floyd Mayweather he's thrown probably 15, maybe 20 punches less than the compared division average, right? Which what they're saying the division average was 58 punches per round. So yeah, so we got a total. So how many punches were we getting with Devin, and how many punches were we getting from Skull? Because that's what we don't want to see. All right, I can't remember. I mean, maybe I can remember a time where I was complaining about Floyd not fighting enough. Obviously, it was probably at a time where I wasn't appreciating the sweet signs that he was representing as much as I do now. But I can't remember where I was like super pissed, right? Like, oh my God, he's just not punching. So I think 38 punches per round would probably be where I would have a cutoff. Like, all right, 38 punches per round. You got to throw at least, so what? At least 35 punches per round? Like, is that the way we mitigate this fucking run fest? You know, we put in a regulation of punches per round that each fighter must show an output, or if not, you know, they run the risk of getting a point taken or whatever. Gonna have to tap into that a little bit more. This is a lovely topic, bro, to see if we can get some of that, you know, mitigated and taken out, right, of the sport, man, because I will not tolerate another one of those. I swear to beans, I will not. And my man Devin right now chasing Brian Norman, the Stormin' Norman, also talking about the WBO strap. You know, Bill always be on. He always be in the slingshot, driving around everywhere trying to promote and get the buzz going for his son. So Brian Stormin' Norman, they looking for that one. Well, we want to see at least 30 punches per round, champ. Champ. All right, let's go back. Jose Garcia says, Alex, don't include Floyd's forearms and elbow. Hold on. Shit. Yo. Bro, you almost made me choke on that. Lemon water. Bro, all right. Nah, we're not including Floyd's forearms and elbows on that one, bro. Them shits were legendary, bro. Some of them forearm moves that Floyd pulled on people, oh, my gosh. You could tell he was the boss of everything, the way he spoke to them referees. It's like, yo, what you doing, man? Better tell him something before you don't get this check. Yeah, Clarissa, they're accusing him with 3 minors. Yeah, I'm going to tap in and look at that, bro. That sucks, man. You know, there's only a certain amount of rappers left from my time that are not in that fucking, like, what do I even call that? That red circle of bullshit that a lot of these people, you know, when the whole Diddy thing happened, like a lot of people got blown out the water. A lot of people, actors, musicians, I mean, everybody of all politicians, like a lot of people got put out on Front Street, man. And, you know, you want to think that some guys, you know, just don't touch certain things, man. But, and Big Pun was like my guy, bro. Oh, you know, rest in peace, Big Pun, bro. I still play all his music, bro. Every now and then. If you know, if I'm in the gym, I'm throwing a little bit of Pun on there. You got Capital Punishment was a fucking classic. And I was more into those guys, you know what I mean? A lot of people were listening to Jay-Z and all that other shit, you know, which is cool. You know what I mean? You know, Jay-Z was always talking about the money and all that other shit. I was always a LOX, DMX. I was more Black Radio kid, you know what I'm saying? More for the streets. And, you know, Big Pun was part of that. You know, Fat Joe, Don Cartagena, the leader. Damn. Dun, dun, dun. Yo, who remembers the Fat Joe 560 leather coats? Bet you don't remember that shit. I remember when them shits first came out, I had me a Fat Joe 560, bro. I was the man in high school. Came in with that shit, like, oh, you know, everybody had the Avrexes. When that shit came out, boom. I remember I wanted to go buy that at, damn, what was the name of the spot on Broad Street? Schemes. Wow. Anybody from New Jersey, man, if they knew a spot out in Elizabeth, New Jersey, right on Broad Street, it was a spot where you go get fly gear. Shit was called Schemes. Now that I look back, like, damn, they was scheming for yo. You walk in there, bro. I know y'all remember the iceberg shirts too, iceberg sweaters, all the expensive shit in there. But yeah, it took me down memory lane with that 560 coat, and I'll take a look at that stuff. Maybe I could chop it up with Mario. You know, Marioski be he be having his ear on the music industry. Jose Garcia said, here's a case for TBE, the best ever. What's the reach of Floyd and Crawford? They have crazy advantages for opponents in their weight. Did Terence fight back foot all night against Errol? No. Yeah. I mean, every time they bring up Errol, you know, I think about car crashes and shit. So, you know, I don't get too excited about that. And these are little things that happen, bro. You know, these are little things that happen that put like a little bit of a stain on certain fighters' wins. And, you know, he didn't beat a complete Errol, but he definitely did. He wasn't on no run shit. And Errol came in as Errol would always come in too. Errol came in ready to fight, ready to push back his fighters as he usually does. He ran into a wall with Terence. Sergio says, those stats I gave is the mathematical average per round over his entire career. Got it from Google. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're totally right. And, you know, I can't deny the averages that I'm looking at too. And it's, you know, across all his fights. So, and compared to the average division average. So the division average for Floyd at that time, that's the 147, was 58 punches per round. And, I mean, we could leave it at 50 punches per round if that's a number. But again, this is something that needs to be taken, you know, need to take a closer look. Can't, you know, it sounds good. Got to take a little bit of a closer look in order for us to see if really that's what it is. You said Williams Skull threw 31 punches per round versus Canelo? So Williams Skull threw 31 punches per round versus Canelo. Wow. Okay. See, but I think there's the perception of the fight too. See, when Canelo was fighting William Skull, like, if he did throw 31 punches, it just looked terrible because he's throwing them while he's damn 31 punches. I'm trying to get a sense of it because if Floyd was throwing 38 punches, there's only 7 more punches. So what, you know, even though, but we would. I was never this bored in a Floyd Mayweather fight. Like, it was never that obvious to me that the guy was truly just running on the back foot. So, even though William Skull might have thrown 31 punches, it didn't seem like he threw that many. You sure? Wait a minute. So punches landed were the fewest. See, Sergio, I got to look back to see how many punches were landed, because I thought I had a sense that they only threw like 50 punches in that fight, or was it just landed? I have to take 40 is fair if we're gonna do that. 40 punches per round. Yeah. 40 punches per round. All right, well, there goes your average. And listen, we're talking right now, right? We're just talking, trying to see where we could, put a stop to that type of shit. Now that my man Turk especially got a huge say-so in what these fighters are doing. Like, punch output got to be a certain amount, for sure. And remember, I wasn't done with the interview, y'all. There's still mad shit going on in this interview, bro. And there's some other little tidbits of information that were given by Canelo and Terence. Is something to look at. So let me just go back to actually the tape. We'll continue the breakdown. And remember, guys, if you're just tuning in, we were talking about the Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez interview on the G.O.A.T.S podcast with Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, and of course Dana White. Again, in a sense, remember, this is a pre-recorded episode that happened prior to the William Skull fight. So all the energy that you guys are seeing in this episode was prior to the Skull fight, and it's not the new energy that we're seeing from Terence Bud Crawford now in the pressers. This was a more timid Terence Crawford in this interview. What we're getting now, it's a different Terence Crawford, a more outspoken and showing not less respect, but showing less I guess respect. Nah, he's not disrespecting Canelo, but he's showing Canelo a little bit. He's baring teeth more at Canelo, instead of trying to give him so much credit. Now at the pressers that you're seeing,
Focus on what I'm doing right now. Obviously, I'm focused 100% on May, because I need to take care about the fight first, and then to this happen, right? And then I need to take care about that fight and training, focus on my path.
But we know your chin is battle tested.
so focus on my path. So again, bro, these guys are rocking. Yo, how is it that everybody got a coat up there? Dana White got a T-shirt on. That's crazy. Dana's like, man. All right, that was just a little strange there.
But mostly at 147. How you think you're gonna handle when he starts wheeling those 10-out cinder blocks?
We don't know. That's the the thing that excite everybody. We seen Terence Crawford.
Hey, yo, you see what Canelo's reactions to the stuff that Terence is saying is priceless, bro. Oh, man, I hope I'm not the only one catching this, but if you guys are catching it on YouTube with me right now, just take a look at Canelo Alvarez's reactions after each after each statement. Watch this.
That's the the thing that excite everybody. We seen Terence Crawford.
Oh, shit. Yo, that's the thing that's exciting everybody. And then you see Canelo just pick up his head like, what? Yo, somebody please do like a cut up comedic version of this, bro. Please. I just got to see it again. Please. I got to see it again. Look at his face. Look at your boy's face.
With Gamboa. We seen Terence Crawford stun a little bit against Mean Machine. They would say, we don't know.
So there you go, right? Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford, I don't think he ever admitted that Mean Machine was able to, shake him up. We talked about Gamboa, Mean Machine, but I don't think I ever heard Terence actually say it. And he tried to clean it up too.
stun a little bit against Mean Machine, they would say, we
They would say.
don't know. That's why we fight the fight. We all want to see, you know? Do I think I can take it? Yes. Have I been in the ring with bigger fighters sparring my whole life? Yes. But have I been in the ring with a Canelo type fighter? No. That's why we want to watch the fight. That's why we all want to see how great is Terence Crawford. How great can Terence Crawford take Canelo punch? That's what
How great can how great can Terence take Canelo punch? I don't know, champ. I don't know if you want to take them punches. I don't think you want to take those punches, champy.
we want to see it for. That's what makes it so is exciting and intriguing because you got people on this side saying,
Hey, yo. Man, I don't know if I'm just pulling too much out of this shit, yo. But you see my man Dana White's face? They just looking at him, yo. Oh, man. Maybe I'm playing too much into it, y'all. Maybe I am. Sergio Jaime says, damn, bro, schemes? Yeah, bro, brought it back, huh? Brought it back to schemes, bro. That was the spot, though, bro. That was one of the spots. Remember the Skittles jackets? Stop playing. The race car driver jackets. All that shit. Sergio Jaime says, that's perception and set up punches. He had to throw something. Me and you would not call them punches, but the judges in CompuBox. Yeah, CompuBox. Set up punches. Yeah, it's the perception of the people, too. Again, it's all the perception, really, because, you know, you're looking at Floyd throw that amount of punches comparatively to what we saw with Skull, and it just doesn't look the same. Sergio says, he looks smoked out. Not for nothing. That shit was funny as hell. Yeah. Let's go back, man. My man Dana White is just grilling Crawford like, what are you saying? What?
and Terence Crawford is too small. He can't take Terence Crawford power. But then you got people on this side saying, oh, well, Canelo is going to have a problem with Terence Crawford boxing. You know, so that's why we want to fight and make it an interesting fight.
I don't think in that way because I'm in his position before, moving up in way, and at the end of the day, when you have skills, you don't need much power to handle that, right? And I'm in his position, and I think
Canelo's been in his position so many times, man. That's why you see Canelo chilling the way he is, bro. And everything that Terence is saying, too, Canelo's agreeing with. He's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about because that's the type of fighter I am.
I know what is he's thinking, and that's the excited part, right? You want to see two fighters doing the same thing in their career, like moving up in way and try to accomplish the best, and that's why it's one of the best fights out there.
They're about to wrap it up right now.
Terence Crawford, with Terence Crawford because we both try to be great.
And do you think fighting the 4-pound smaller king does more for your career than facing the bigger menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez?
That was the question right there. That was the question right there. Let's bring it back.
With Terence Crawford because we both try to be great.
And do you think fighting the 4-pound smaller king does more for your career than facing the bigger menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez? Facing the bigger menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez? Do you think this fight does more for your career than fighting David?
Terence Crawford. With Terence Crawford because
that was the question we was all waiting for, Champy. That was the question we were waiting for. Shout out to Shaq, bro. I don't know who gave him that question or if he asked it himself, but you asked it, Champy. So shout out to Shaq for that one. Because that's the question that needs to be answered. Let's do it again.
We both try to be great.
And do you think fighting the 4-pound smaller king does more for your career than facing the bigger menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez?
Let's see how he answers this question too. Look, David Benavidez fight, to many of us, I think that we can still probably get that fight because Turkey's in this business, right? And I think that Turkey could possibly make that fight happen. Will it happen? We still don't know, and I don't know. But is that a good question? Of course it is, right? What is it that And again, this is something that you could go back and forth on, right? Because at the end of the day, David Benavidez, he was there. He was there to fight, and he didn't get the fight. How much more did he have to do? How much more medal was he supposed to collect? How much, what exactly was David Benavidez supposed to do to earn that fight, right? Because Terence Crawford, believe it or not, like, he's a 2-division undisputed champion. Like, there's a lot there. Like, if I'm Canelo Alvarez and I'm beating you, I'm absorbing that superpower, right? I'm absorbing that. And, Crawford has just done so much in the sport that, to me, he does bring a lot more accomplishments. I mean, and that's facts, right? Can't argue with Canelo on that. So let's keep it going.
Do you think this fight does more for your career than fighting David Benavidez?
You can see the career of Terence Crawford or Benavidez. Terence Crawford is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes, many championship fights. So he bring me something to the table. He bring me something to the table for my history, and that's all about.
Obviously, all of us at this round.
There you go. That was Canelo's answer, man, and I think it's a fair answer. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are talking about Duckville or anybody else going to be talking that Duck talk. That was a reasonable answer. Comparatively, I think Terence Crawford is, holding more accolades and accomplishments than David Benavidez. Just because he's a smaller man doesn't make it any less. Some would argue that Benavidez is just too damn big, that he should be up there at the 175-pounders trying to handle business. Clarissa Turcio says, now Canelo wants to big up Bud's resume when they bring up Benavidez. Yeah. I mean, but he was bringing it up. What are you talking about, Clarissa? He was already saying that he's always said that he's a great fighter. Thing is that y'all salivating for that fucking Benavidez fight. Y'all want that. Y'all want to see Canelo lose. Y'all want to see him lose, bro. It's crazy, bro. And he's been bringing you all the great fights, too. I don't know how some of y'all I don't understand some of y'all, man. The way y'all logic is, bro. Shout out to Shaq.
Table are considered GOATs. Dan, I'm going to start with you. What does the greatest of all time mean to you?
The greatest of all time is a person who has put in the work throughout their entire career. And
this is a good question, too. I'm going to ask all of you guys the same question. What does the greatest of all time mean to you? Throw it up on the chat right now, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in here on the Boxing Biz Podcast show here with your host, Alex Doomsday Linez. Make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Come kick it with us here on the early morning road work, where we talk boxing and everything in between, right? Because we're always slipping into other topics across the sport. And every now and then we get like a breaking, industry news, like Clarissa said about Fat Joe. But appreciate you guys tapping in with me always. Let's get back to listening to Dana White's answer, right? On what it takes to be what does being the all-time greatest mean? Right? And I'd love to hear what you guys got to say, man. Throw it up in the chat, And if you want to just, give your opinion and not write too much, let me know who's the greatest of all time for you. We talked a little bit about Floyd. Obviously, on paper, he's done it the best. I can't even fucking like chop that shit up any one which way. He's just it. So if you guys have a name you want to throw up in there in the chat, shit, I'll take it. I want to see who you got as the greatest of all time. I don't think they mentioned somebody, but they're just answering the question, right? Which was a pretty cool question from Shaq. Let's continue.
Pretty much everyone considers them the best to ever do it.
Canelo, what is the greatest of all time mean to you?
Me, I think the guy tried to.
You know what, guys? Give me 2 seconds, right? Give me 2 segundos. Give me 2 segundos. Matter of fact, that was not it. Jeez Louise. All right. Give me 2 seconds, y'all, while I step away for 2 seconds. I got to answer the door. They're ringing the doorbell right now, and I'm like, oh, I got to go down because the thing on top is not working. So give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Where are we? Jeez, Louise, where the fuck are we? All right, I'm just going to... I'll be right back.
I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. But let me talk something. Let me let y'all know. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. 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 I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. He was missing. 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 I controlled the fight. I controlled the fight. I want to think about the fight. I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. But let me talk something. Let me let y'all know. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. 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 I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. He was missing. 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 I controlled the fight. I controlled the fight. I want to think about the fight. I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. But let me talk something. Let me let y'all know. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. 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 I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. He was missing. 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 I controlled the fight. I controlled the fight.
I controlled the fight. My bad, y'all. Got the Amazon guy. Couldn't get in and shit. Y'all ever get your Amazon package and just look at the box and wonder where that box, like how that trip went for that box? I'm looking at this box delivery that I just got, and the box looked like the shit got the people's elbow on it. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, appreciate you guys holding on. Package looked like they kicked it down the stairs. People's elbowed it. Fucking jeez. What the fuck? All right, so where we were at, we're at with the actual where is it with the actual chat? Shout out to everybody too, man. stayed on for those couple of minutes right now that I was definitely not happy with the box's shape right now. Let me see. Sergio says, the fight going to happen. Canelo is doing to Benavidez what Floyd did to him. He doesn't want him to get the bag that comes with fighting him. Not Canelo wants to be. What do you mean? Sergio says, the fight is going to happen. Canelo is doing to Benavidez what Floyd did to him. He doesn't want him to get the bag that comes with fighting him. Yeah. You know what? I don't know if it's that he doesn't want him to get the bag. You know, when Floyd fought Canelo, I think it was perfect timing, too, for the way Floyd fought Canelo. Perfect. He caught Canelo young. You know, as far as Canelo team thought, they probably were like, yo, we want the fight. They wanted the fight now. They kept asking for the fight. Even Richard Schaefer, you know, went on and said that he told him, like, yo, y'all going too fast. And he took the fight young. And, you know, when you're a young fighter, taking on the older fighter, you feel like you have that advantage. But I think the experience wasn't there for Canelo just yet. Floyd capitalized on it, man. I think Floyd's timing, that's what I'm saying. Floyd's got this type of trajectory journey that it's in a one-in-a-lifetime resume. Like the time. Do you know that how many things have to be right in order to get a resume like Floyd's? It's not just about fighting 25 champions, you know, a 25 title. It's not it's about the timing. You know how many things have to be right in order for those fighters to be available. You know, it's just a lot of things had to go right for Floyd, and they did. We were at the tail end of this interview too. Remember, we still got some Manny Pacquiao chopping up to do with Mario Barrios. What you do there, champ? Got my dog dropping bones and shit on my toe. Yeah, so we still got to talk a little bit more about Manny. I like shout out to Ron Goodall, who interviewed Mario Barrios in a short interview, but you know, short but revealing, right? Remember, guys, we got a legend coming back. A legend who's 46 years old, taking on Mario Barrios, current champion, who is stating, that he wants to unify and they have to take him serious. So, and I like the way Mario always conducts his keeps it on the humble. Never talking too much shit, but handles business, man. Let's see where we're at with the interview. See if my man Canelo, let's go.
No, look at himself and say, I can do this, and he accomplished that. And I can do this, and he accomplished that. And he tried to do the best, and everything he do, I think for me, that means the GOAT.
But GOAT means to me is, a fighter that you can take and put in any era.
What does the GOAT mean to you? If you know what we're talking about and you know the question, throw it on there on the chat, all right? Shout out to Facebook, YouTube, IG, and X. Everybody tuning in here with the Boxing Biz Podcast show. And we're talking about the question, right, that Shaquille O'Neal proposed to all of the individuals sitting in there. I mean, he didn't just ask it to Canelo and Terence. He asked Dana and also Tom Brady. What's the greatest of all time mean to you? And obviously, in this situation, we have Hall of Famers like Shaquille O'Neal from the NBA, Tom Brady from the NFL, and being the greatest of all time, it rings across all sports, right? So I'm excited to see what exactly Tom Brady's answer was, as well as Shaq's.
Any weight class, any division, and he's still gonna come out on top. A fighter that walks around in the world, respect him as a champion. The world knows of him as the best. They know. It's no question. So GOAT means to what it means to me is inside and outside the ring, how the people view.
So I like Terrence's answer too, because it's not just about being, the best inside the ring, right? You got to be the best, or have a certain type of following, right, or perception from the people, right, to be the greatest of all time. And of course, nobody did it better than Muhammad Ali. You know, Muhammad Ali did it the best. He was he was there at a time where, you know, perceptions were different. And of course, it's definitely a different era, right, that we're living in now. So it's just like during his time, Muhammad Ali was able to do so much, you know, inside and outside the ring. That's why we call Muhammad Ali the greatest of all time. That's when we talk about greatest of all time, we include Muhammad Ali, right? Because he was perceived outside of the ring also, not just inside the ring. And how many fighters can we say that about right now during this time, right? Who else can we talk about that, you know, is loved by the people and handles business inside the ring? Maybe Teofimo Lopez, you know? Who else? I mean, Tank. People love Tank. Ryan Garcia. People love them. You know? Who are we talking about, right? You got to conduct yourself good, you know? We never seen Muhammad Ali with some craziness. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I know Muhammad Ali had a few ladies, right? He was a ladies' man. I don't know if the things changed after certain changes in his life, right? Especially when his conversion to Islam, you know. A lot of things changed for him then. Became a more disciplined fighter. Let's see. You know what? Something came in too. I'll probably play it while we're here after we finish this up. Some of the Crawford versus Canelo mic'd up face-off audio was, I guess, released. So we'll take a look at some of that and see what was happening. Because remember, this episode that we're breaking down, the G.O.A.T.S podcast episode with Terence, Canelo, Tom Brady, Shaq, and Dana. This episode was pre-recorded before the Williams Skull fight. This is prior to the May matchup between Williams Skull and Canelo. So, you know, the feeling is different. The attitude's different. The energy's different. From Crawford especially. Now now moving into these pressers that we've been seeing as of late. Crawford's energy is a little more aggressive, a little more confident. And just don't want you guys to mistaken this for something that was pre-recorded as of recent. This was before the Williams Skull fight. Just to get that in there again, just in case you just tapped in with us. Gee! Before we going back into it, Sergio Jaime says each division can have a GOAT. There cannot be only one. There is no Highlander in boxing. But yes, I agree with the Ali idea. Damn, you brought it back to Highlander. I have no rival. No man can meet my equal. Damn, that was the show, champ. Brought it backage. All right, let's continue.
How do people respect you? How do people embrace you as a champion?
To me, the greatest of all time was always an elite, untouchable status. You know, when I was growing up, I was just watching players, and I always wanted to be like them. And then my father told me something very interesting. He said, don't be like them, be better than them. So if you're considered the GOAT, that means you're in the elite class and elite status. And I went before you because you are definitely the greatest of all time. What does that title mean to you?
No, I think when you think about that.
Yo, Tom Brady, bro. Damn. This guy's done it time and time again. Fall back, Shaq. You definitely a go-to champ. For sure.
There's an aura to different people that when they perform what they're doing, whether it's boxing or basketball or football, or, you know, when you step to the table, then everyone's worried. And whenever you've got the ball in your hands or whenever you've got the big moment happening, they all know what's going to happen too. And I think when you think about certain people, you go, yep, that's the person I want in that. And everyone that think at this level is you're talking about small margins of who's a little bit better here or there. But there's certain groups of people that stand above everybody else.
Yo, who's a GOAT? Floyd Mayweather, GOAT. Let's go further back. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., GOAT. Roberto Duran, GOAT. Muhammad Ali, GOAT. Terence Crawford, Canelo, GOATs.
So, Dana, any last words you want to give to Canelo and Crawford?
I think that, obviously this is going to be one of those massive legacy fights in Las Vegas. We're talking about doing, Raider Stadium. And this thing has the potential to be not only one of the biggest fights ever in history, biggest gate, biggest pay-per-view, and one of the biggest fights of both of these guys' careers. And they've done everything. They've done it all, fought everybody. And I'm excited to be a part of it.
Tom, any last words?
And of course, we already knew. We'll stop the interview there, right? This is just the outbound on what these guys had going on, right? We already know it's happening in Allegiant Stadium, obviously. So, just gives you a little more insight again that this was a pre-recorded episode and not to be mistaken with the timeline that we've got going on now. So, yeah, that's basically it. And for that, right? For that interview. Interesting interview, got to pick out a lot of little things out of it. I was a little confused in the beginning, obviously, because I thought that it was something that was recently recorded. But when you went into the meat and potatoes of the interview, we got to see that it was actually something prior to the Skull and Canelo fight. So I'm gonna play just a quick, clip of the mic'd up when Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez actually go face to face and they bump each other, right? We all saw Terence Crawford trying to walk down Canelo, but I wanted you guys to listen to the actual mic'd up audio. When you get to listen to the actual close up of the sound. So let me just bring that up real quick, because it's gonna be my first time hearing the mic'd up too. I got a couple of things that I saw yesterday, but I didn't get to actually hear the sound. Get to hear the sound, the mic'd up sound. So let's take a look at what they were saying actually. Well, I didn't hear no mic'd up there. What happened to the mic'd up? Hey, yo, Terence Crawford got that menacing smile on. You see that shit? Yo, who the hell is Bomac pushing in the background, yo? Bomac looked like he was struggling trying to push somebody back. Who trying to push back? A camera guy? Damn, Bomac. Let the presser let the reporter report, champ. Trying to throw a camera guy off the stage and shit. What the hell? Hey, yo, Terence and Canelo got the serious, deadly look on his face. Crawford smiling at him. I don't know if it's that crazy Joker smile or you know what it is smile. I don't know, but Canelo right now is serious. And look at that belt, bro. 188, I think it was. 188 or 180,000 pounds. It cost. And we did a show on this a couple of days ago. We did Haley? Yeah, we did a show on this and spoke a little bit about the belt too. I think it's 144,000 cash, or no, 144,000 pounds, and I think $188,000 because the conversion from pound to dollars is a little different. So, but the belt looks amazing. And yo, just think about it. You got $180,000 belt. I got somebody's house. You know what I'm saying? Like around my waist. I think that's fly as hell. That belt looks nice. Polished gold and the whole nine. How many ounces of gold do you think it's on here? Just think about it. I mean, if it's solid plated gold, like you know how when you used to like look at people's charms back in the day. I mean, even now, if you look at the charms that people wear on their chains, you know what I'm saying. Some of them are, depending on who you're talking to, them shits are hollow. I remember back in the day, I used to see somebody's charms and shit. You know, I had a big ass chain too back in the day. I was into all that shit, and I had the charm on it, and then my charm was solid. You feel me? It weighed, and it was and I would look at somebody else's charm, and we'd be you know how motherfuckers talk and shit. Look at my shit, blah blah blah. You put the weight on it and shit, like yo, your shit big as hell, but that shit light. That shit ain't solid, champ. Shit. But yeah, this belt looks solid. Let's continue to look at this little face-off, bro. We just finished going over this G.O.A.T.S podcast interview, right? Now look at the energy and how much has changed. Look at Crawford now. He ain't taking that Canelo bullshit anymore. Like after that podcast, before the Williams Skull fight, Crawford's already been warming up to this feeling, this big fight feeling, right? And that's why you saw him in this presser. He was like, man, only thing I'm going to be running is upside your head. And you got a big head, too. Like, he's talking more shit and feeling a lot more confident than he did in that G.O.A.T.S podcast.
You got your belts here?
I ain't got no belts.
No?
I ain't bring no belts. I'm taking his belts.
Oh, he said, I ain't bringing no belts. I'm taking his belt. Yeah, Terence. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Fuck all that nervous energy shit. Said, see, this is what I like to see, bro. He's more comfortable now, man. Crawford is way more comfortable now. That G.O.A.T.S podcast, he got hit with the whole big fight energy a little too hard. He was looking a little nervous. Post G.O.A.T.S podcast, Terence Crawford looking like he ready for the sauce right now. He ready to give out the sauce. Shout out to everybody tapping into, man. Hit that subscribe button if you like what you're listening to. And if you want to kick it with us every day at 7 a.m., check us out. Morning road work here at the Boxing Biz Podcast. And we're across all social media platforms. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, X, IG, the whole 9 yards, champy. Tap in with us and tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't cost you, bro. How we got like 90 watching and only like 14 or three hearts? Come on, champy. I need everybody tapping that heart. If you want X, tap that little heart, bro. You know, the little thing that looks like this? Just tap that. And you might have retweeted too. You know what I'm saying? Navigate through these social media platforms and help the kid out, man. We got to grow this shit, bro. I'm trying to get out there into these fucking gyms, man. You know, Doomy been doing this for too long, bro. Let me go back to the Chatty Patties, matter of fact. See what we got going on. Wow. Where are we at? There we go. Clarissa says the fight is pay-per-view or free on Netflix. It's on Netflix, eh? We're going to be chilling. Yo, Netflix is, bro, this is where it's going, bro. And, you know, and Turkey Al-Sheikh pointed something out, too. You know, now with piracy being at an all-time high, this is the way to go. This is the future of boxing, being on these networks, man. Because the piracy's gotten out of control. And there's got to be a better business model. For, you know, the fighters, the promotions, investors like Turkey Al-Sheikh, for everybody to be, you know, a little bit more protected in the outcome of the monies. So, yeah, Netflix for sure. And we'll see if we can beat that Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson number. That's a big number to beat. That ain't no small number. 2KY8. Let me see if I could get it better. 2KY8. I'm trying to see if you gotta like if that's a play on the name, Ninja. 2KY8. 2KY8. I guess it is what it is. 2KY8 Ninja said exactly. Ha! Y'all remember Nelson from The Simpsons? 2K8 Ninja says Crawford put his weight on Canelo. Yeah, bro, he pressed him. That's what I'm saying. I like this post G.O.A.T.S podcast Terence. He was looking a little too nervous on the podcast, champ. 2K8 Ninja says, but they were silent when Canelo asked if Crawford fought any elite fighters. Just say Ninja. Of course, my dude. Ninja, vanish. Shout out to Ninja Turtles. My man Nick Kinnaman says Bud Crawford era. Oh, shit. Nick just stepped into the building already, holding up the flag real high for Crawford.
Let's go, champ. You feel me?
Let's go, champ. You feel me? But, yo, Nick, go back and look at the G.O.A.T.S podcast interview with Canelo, Crawford, Shaq, Tom Brady, and Dana White if you didn't catch it. He was looking nervous. He was looking mighty nervous, champ. You know what I'm saying? But he switched it up, right? He don't look nothing, none of that nervous energy over there. Damn, almost went super stutter mode for a second. Let's continue. Yo, look how Canelo looking at him. Crawford just said, I didn't bring no belts. I'm taking his belts. Look at Canelo. Canelo's looking at him like, what you say?
I'm taking your back. They coming home with me. You good? They coming. They coming. Yeah, I know. You gonna remember. I want you to remember. That's the whole purpose. I want you to remember. Yeah.
He said, I'm going to remember you. I'm going to remember what you said. Because a lot of them be talking. A lot of them be talking shit before the fight, bro. A lot of them be talking. Crawford's smiling. I don't know. I think deep down inside, Crawford knows too, bro. Crawford knows what he's getting himself into. He's excited about this new challenge in his life. Where we at? My man Nick Kinnaman says that was a good interview with Shaq and Brady. It was before the skull fight, though. Yeah, that timeline was off, bro. Caught a lot of people off guard because I was already seeing, Terence Crawford in the new type of energy, right? Like the energy that I'm getting from Crawford right now, I was liking it. But when I saw this podcast, I'm like, damn, what happened? He looks a little nervous in this. But then I start doing the whole timeline thing. I'm like, oh, okay. So this is way before the skull fight. This was like in the beginnings of that lead up, right? To solidify. This is that was before the dinner, right? The turkey dinner. Scope. Oh shit, my man Dio in the building says Canelo got walked down, champy. Don't be surprised when Bud has Canelo running. Stop the cappage. Capadonna's out here. He ain't walk him down. Even though we're going to see right now, right? Because I had a couple of different angles. I'm trying to see if Dana White's hands were in the way. If maybe Dana was the one pushing him back, right? Terence did kind of like press himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Terence pressed his body against Canelo's, bro. That was a little, pause. Because, you pressing your chest, that means that, like, my belly touching your belly, like, fall back, champ. I ain't trying to rub bellies with you. I might go back. You know what I'm saying? Be pressing, like, you pressing, like, what the fuck? I mean, unless Terence was walking, like, chest first, right? But if you walking, like, straight, like, it's not just your chest touching your stomach. Shit, even your pelvic area touching, like, fall back, motherfucker. I ain't trying to rub with you. You feel me? But, again, you could take it as, like, okay, look at Terrence's smile, bro. He got a menacing, like, Joker smile on right now. Both of them do. Look at both of them. Damn, can I get that out? Well, they're both smiling. Yeah, you making 150 mil. Hell yeah, you smiling. That's it? Damn. Okay. I wanted to get the part where Dio's excuse me, putting all this bank on it, talking about he was gonna walk him down. Walking down. Shite. What else we got? That's the only video we got. I mean, you guys saw the presser. Bro. We're gonna get what we're gonna get out of it, obviously. Ninja says, I love Dana White promoting this fight. This is gonna be big. Ninja, you ain't lying, bro. Just telling everybody, like, Dana White is killing it. I was watching this presser yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Bro, the pressers have been on WWE, UFC, The Zone. Bro, getting massive exposure. Now you got guys like Tom Brady and Shaquille O'Neal sitting down. Bro, the massive audience that's being brought. Bro, Dana's killing it, bro. Y'all some hating ass motherfuckers, bro. Some of y'all, I don't understand y'all. Y'all don't know how to let the new come in. Y'all stuck in y'all old ways. Just like y'all were with the whole Jake Paul shit. Y'all thought that was bad, you know. And, bro, I had that feeling for like a week. Then I'm like, nah, bro. Look at this fucking thing, bro. It's working. It's working. They're everywhere. Shout out to Dana White. Nick Kinnaman says, I love how confident Crawford and Canelo both are. Should be great fight. Yeah, especially now, man, when you get to see Crawford, like, you know, head to head with him like that, man. Crawford doesn't look so small. Crawford he's not the small dude that you know, he's had this year to put on the weight, to do the right thing, right? Fought Madrimov, made himself go up to 154. Obviously, when hydrated, he was probably looking at about 160 something, right? So he's put on the right amount of weight, but I don't think that he's been in enough fights yet. But this is Crawford, yo. Listen, I'm going with Canelo, bro, but don't for a second think that I don't be thinking here like, damn, can Crawford possibly do this shit? Especially now that I'm seeing like this type of energy from Crawford, no nervous energy. It's like, damn, dog. This is gonna be a fight that once that bell rings, bro. I'm gonna know how this fight's gonna go once the first 2 rounds pass. I usually wait for the 3rd round, right? But I think after the 2nd round, I'll be able to take a look at this fight to which way it's going. But Crawford still has he has to feel this power, bro. I don't know who's punching him like that in camp. I don't know who's punching him like that. I don't know who Crawford has faced that we can sit here and use it as a barometer of power. Crawford's never faced a punching power puncher like Canelo. Never. And Madrimov's hook kept going around that high guard he had. You know what I'm saying? Because look, if you guys looking at me visually, this is how he was fighting. High guard, gloves up front. Watch this. Y'all know y'all see all that. All that chinny chin and eyepiece, bro. Imagine one of those snappy Canelo hooks lands. We're going to see. D.O. says it's all about balance, not strength. Guarantee there will be times when he's got Canelo moving away like he did Spencer. That's what I want to see. Because if we see Terence Crawford pushing back at Canelo Alvarez, man, fucking, bro, the crowd's going to go crazy. I'm going to be going crazy because I don't see for a second Canelo going backwards. If Canelo starts to go backward in this fight, bro, oh my gosh. That's going to be scary for all the people who bet on Canelo, bro. It's going to be a scary, scary situation. Where we at? My man D.O. All right. Ninja says, usually gaining weight makes fighters slow like Pacquiao. Well, that's what I'm saying. Terence is going up. He's got to worry about that, right? Because, you know, his speed, and he said it on that podcast. You know, is Terence Crawford's speed gonna be a problem? it's not going to be that much of a speed difference now. You know, you're going up in weight. You're not going to be as fast as you were at 147. It's just not going to work like that. So, you know, any acclimation that needs to be done, any figuring out has to be done in the sparring. You got to be able to work all those things out in sparring. And look, man, I know Bomac and the whole squad, you know, 3 trainers on that corner of Crawford's. I know he got it. I know that he got a good game plan, but bro, game plans don't always work. And one punch, game plan is out the window. Nick Kinnaman, I think Crawford drops Canelo when Canelo is off balance and doesn't see the shot coming. Canelo won't be hurt bad though, and Crawford wins by convincing decision. Yeah, this is a fight that goes the distance, and I think that it's going to go the distance because Crawford's going to be moving. I don't think that this is a fight that's going to go to the distance with Canelo moving on the back foot. You understand? This is, again, a tactical fight for Crawford, but the way he's just presenting himself, especially at this last presser, bro, it's like I got my mind going here, you know, and everywhere, really, because Crawford doesn't look small. He doesn't look small. Now it's like, okay, you had that against the butt tenders, right? You had that against them. Yo, Canelo's bigger, stronger, been at that weight, fought guys at that weight, but now seeing them, you know, eye and eye, you know, as far as size difference, it doesn't look like a big difference. Now it's about how long you've been there. And Canelo's been there longer. That's why I'm still inclined to pick him. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. We're at D.O. says Virgil sparred Canelo and said Mean Machine is the strongest puncher of all of them, champ. Virgil sparred Canelo and said Mean Machine is the strongest puncher of all of them. Nah. Are you sure you got that right, D.O.? You sure you got that right? Ah, man, I remember Virgil saying that he had sparred somebody, but Mean Machine is the strongest puncher? Nah. Virgil's been in there with a couple of dudes, bro. Shit. I remember too, D.O. I remember that interview too, man. But if you say it is, I'm gonna take your word for it, because I do remember the interview where he was talking about the people that he's boxed in there. And you got some guys that do Mean Machine, that's what Terence said too. You know, Mean Machine hit him with a hard shot. And sometimes you got guys that hit hard, bro, and they don't get the credit for it until you get into these interviews, and you don't want to believe it, but all right, his words, not mine, champy. Dio says positive. Virgil still spars Mean Machine. There you go. All right, Mean Machine got one hell of a punch then. And Mean Machine Mean Machine is a good fighter, bro. He's a good fighter. And he did have Terence in trouble, so. All right, Dio sticking up for his champ. Gee. What else we got in here? I think we have finished up, man. Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. Let's get into that. Because, you know, Canelo Alvarez versus Crawford, man, we got a lot to go still. Dio says, do you consider Mean Machine elite? Because I do. Nah, bro, he ain't elite. He ain't elite, bro. They're talking about elite. We're talking about, and we could chop it up. See, you're going to make me go back into the resume, champy. Who do we consider elite? Saul Alvarez? Who do we consider elite, bro? We could go straight to elite. Gennady Golovkin, Dmitry Bivol. Elite? Because, you know, I could go and say Caleb Plant. They fought champions, right? Or ex-champions. But when you're talking elite, that's who I'm talking about. That's who I'm talking about. Gennady, who else? No, he wasn't elite. Amir Khan. Miguel Cotto was elite. Islay Landi, elite. Austin Trout at that time was elite. Who else we got? But these are names, bro. Legendary names. Who you got? Who else you got besides Mean Machine as elite? Ninja says you should watch John Mindoro fights too. John Mindoro. All right. I don't even know who that is. Who is that guy? Shit. Where's this fighter from? Holy cow. Never heard of this guy. Well, John. Yo. Who are you talking about? Let me see. Ninja. Who the heck is John Mindoro, man? See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Sometimes I be off. Oh, no. It's not that. Mindoro. Let me see who you got me looking up this morning. Name is crazy. Where he from? Trigger Man. John Mindoro. Okay. Philippines. Shout out to the Philippines, bro. Philippine boxing, bro. I know you excited for Manny Pacquiao coming out. I'm gonna keep my eye out for this guy, huh? Okay. I'll make sure I check this guy out. Shout out to everybody tapping in too, man, on the Chatty Patty across all the social media platforms. I appreciate it when y'all tap in with me, man. And if this is the first time you're tapping in with me, why don't you tap that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you like what you listen to, of course, hit the notification bell so you hear that ding every time I go live. 7 a.m. road work Eastern time. So I'm pretty much 7 a.m. on Eastern time, right? If you're waking up at 4 in the morning on the West Coast, catch me outside. How about that? You digs? You could catch me at 4 a.m. there. If you're in England, to all more UK brethren, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm catching you lunchtime. UK, you catching it at 12. East Coast, 7 a.m. Shout out to the West Coast, you know. If you're up at 4, you're catching Doomatron in action. Appreciate y'all. And it is a daily podcast. Shout out to Nick Kinnaman. Great podcast, bro. I subscribe. You on every day. Every day I'm here. Flexing on them, champ. So, yeah, catch me outside. How about that? DL says popular and elite get confused. That's what I'm talking about. Popular and elite. We're talking about elite. It's like a very small list, DL. You know what I mean? Elite, we're talking about. I think you're falling into like the legendary category. Elite, we're talking about elite guys. You know, not just with the O, right? Not just with the undefeated record, because sometimes too that gets misconstrued. A guy has no losses, and all of a sudden he's elite. No. That's not the recipe we use to get that. You know what I mean? Dio says, to me, elite is based off skill and IQ. Absolutely. It's one of the ingredients, right? In that stew. In that elite stew, you got to throw in those ingredients, right? Skill and IQ. But what else? Resume, right? Resume is a part of it, right? Just like I just mentioned before, that it's not all of it, but it's part of it. Opponents, too. Who you've been on the dance floor with. Because, you know, styles make fights, man. Styles makes fights. Ninja says, yes, Trigger Man, unbeaten. Yeah, kid looks good, man. Kid looks good. Got 14 KOs, too. It's fucking incredible. He's been fighting last 3 fights in the States, so that's good. So he was on a Pro Box card. Okay. KO, too. All right. Lucas Del Bro. Nah, somebody to definitely keep my lupa on, bro, so appreciate that. All right. Who else we got up here? Nick Kinnaman, in your opinion, was Gamboa elite when Crawford fought him? And what about Ricky Burns? So Gamboa's when Crawford fought him, I don't think that he was like, you know, in in his prime. But Gamboa is the type of guy that, you know, he's been put in there with guys at different times in his career. And, of course, he's lost. But when you think about it, like, Gamboa is just a problem for anybody, you know. He is a problem, and he is a dangerous fighter to be in there with. You know, it's just kind of hard to say if he was in his prime or not. I personally believe that he wasn't in his prime. So I guess there goes that. Let me see. Enrique Burns. Damn. Give me a second, brother. I know I showed you guys. Yeah, matter of fact, Nick, if you didn't tune in while we were chopping up the G.O.A.T.S podcast, I was going to show you again, but I think I X'd the window out. But, you know, he said, you know, Canelo Alvarez mentioned Terence mentioned, you know, Ricky Burns. So Ricky Burns was an elite, right? And I know you saw it. That's why probably you're asking, right? But, you know, the answer that he gave was like, who's Ricky Burns, right? And at the end of the day, Ricky Burns, you know, he was undefeated, I think, when he fought Terence. But like, look at the amount of the class of opponents that he was fighting. You know, look at the opponents that Ricky Burns had fought. I think most of the fights were in the UK for Ricky Burns. Let's see. Sorry, hold on real quick. I gotta close the door. Just catching that side noise. Nick Kahneman said, in your opinion, was Gamboa? He says he comes back. He's 32 years old and undefeated when Crawford fought him. Yeah, but he was still the smaller guy. You know what I mean? So, like, even though that's true and maybe he might have been elite, I'm just trying to see it in the context of the overall scope of how that fight was made. And, you know, Gamboa is just a smaller guy. You know, he's dangerous. He was just a smaller guy. So, yeah, we could give him the credit that he fought him undefeated, right? Where's he at? And Gamboa's, where's Gamboa? There we go. Yeah, we could give him that he was undefeated, but when did he fucking fight him? God damn, this guy's at. I don't even know when that happened. Going back on this resume, yo. Oh, it happened after Ricky. Okay. Yeah. So Gamboa. Okay, give him the credit then, Nick. Give him the credit that he fought him right at a time where Gamboa was undefeated. Man, you're just, you know, now looking at this resume, man, I'm looking at Terence Crawford, bro. Terence Crawford's been coming along from 135. Gosh, just to think, man, that he's fighting Canelo at 168. Terence is definitely daring to be great, bro. Wow. Again, all right, you got that. You got that, Nick. You know, he fought him undefeated. Okay. He's still smaller, though. I mean, you can argue that, I guess, that he was a smaller man, Gamboa, in that fight. And we could give Terence his flowers. He can get that. But you saw how much bigger Terence looked. Looked way bigger. I guess that's not an excuse. I'm not trying to play down the win now that I'm looking at it. All right, he caught that. He did look small, though. He looked tiny. Stop playing. If Plant is elite, then so is Felix Diaz, Gamboa, Horn, etc. I didn't pick Plant. I was just mentioning Plant. You know what I mean? I mentioned Plant. I was not saying that Plant was it. I just mentioned them in there, right? Maybe I should have never said his name, but I was just, when I was running down the resume, I saw him there, but I'm not gonna say that he was super elite. Let me see. Dio says Smaller, but Gamboa was Bud's toughest fight. Smaller don't mean Jackie. Yeah, you're right, man. It's like, it's basically like Crawford. Crawford's taller, Canelo's shorter. Yeah, that don't mean much. But a good breakdown, I guess, on that Gamboa fight. I give him that. I give him the Gamboa fight. He just looks so small, man. To me, he looked so tiny in that fight. I saw him outmatched. But I was giving Terence a lot of Crawford a lot of credit. I've always given Terence a lot of credit. Yeah, but that shit don't mean Jackie Schmacky. All right, Nick Kahneman says, you're right. It was Gamboa's second fight at that weight and naturally smaller. Postal was also in his prime and undefeated when Crawford beat him. That's true. Betting odds were close for that fight. That's true. It's timing, too, on these fights, man. When we catching these cats. You know what I mean? Timing is everything. Look at Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought that Mario Barrios would have got this fight? And he said it himself, He got the call. I was like, okay. Shit, let's fight. Mario Barrios versus Manny Pacquiao. And, some of the things that I took from this FightHype interview, shout out to Ron Goodall, who interviewed Mario Barrios. Pacquiao is known as the Mexicutioner. And Mario Barrios wants get back. He wants payback, for beating all his idols and shit. Mexicutioner. Manny Pacquiao taking out some of the top Mexican fighters that Mario Barrios looked up to. So, Mario Barrios has got to put on that mean attitude on. You're fighting a legend, guy you probably looked up to too. Been watching his career, so I know for Mario Barrios, this is probably like a funny feeling situation, right? To be fighting a guy like Pacquiao. Pacquiao, age running against him. Mario Barrios plans on making him work. And I'll play the little quick clip of Mario Barrios, right? And him saying that he's going to tire out Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, I mean, he's a late season fighter, man. We know that his gas tank is not going to be the same. Paulie was talking about this the other day. It's his legs. I mean, that's why Paulie chose to jump into bare knuckle, right? And not go back into boxing. Because the stamina is not the same. Boxers got to be worrying about, a 10-round fight. It's a lot of time. It's 30 minutes of fighting. So, the stamina is really what you worry about, especially coming back. And something that Manny Pacquiao has really got to worry about. Because even though he, and all the stuff he be doing and shit, like, he got to make sure that them legs are still working. Because Mario Barrios is going to push him, bro. Mario Barrios is definitely going to push Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao is going to be able to push Mario Barrios for as long as those legs last. Let's see what my man Mario Barrios had to say about this.
I mean, we're definitely expecting, him to be, to come out, to come out, come out blazing, because I think, that's like something he has always, found a lot of success with, and just, in all of his fights. I think it's just something he's used to. So it is something where, like, I am expecting, and not necessarily that, like, or I'm like trying to match him. So, because I'm not in there, I'm not going to go in there and try to fight his fight. But yeah,
Yeah, but what's his fight though? Like, that's the thing too, man. That worries me a little bit about this fight for Mario, man. Is that, you're not going to go in there and fight his fight, but most of the time when you're in there with Manny Pacquiao, you're trying to catch up. Mario Barrios, he's not going to be able to, and he's done this where he's kind of like gone into like a calm, slow-paced style, kind of looking for little things, and guys like Manny Pacquiao are not going to let off. Manny Pacquiao is going to run out that corner, and it's going to be in his face throwing punches. So I don't know if you're going to try to match him, but you're definitely going to have to pick up the pace. This is going to be a high-paced fight For sure. Let's go back.
There's gonna be times where we're both sitting there, trying to throw some punches. It's just me, my job going there and just beat me. No, I know I have 12 rounds to work with. Just going there, just trying to make him feel old.
There you go. There you go. That's the secret sauce right there. He's gonna try to make him feel old. Now, how do you make a Manny Pacquiao feel old? If Manny Pacquiao's style is output, what are you gonna do? Only way you can make him feel old is to outpace him, outwork him. When are you gonna do that if you're not trying to match any of the style? I don't know. I think Mario Barrios doesn't know exactly what's coming right now. Nick Kinnaman says, you're right. It was Gamboa's second fight at that weight, naturally smaller. Postal was also in his prime and undefeated when Crawford beat him. Beating odds were close for that fight. I think I read that one, but two-time. So nice, I had to do it twice. Dio says the Pac undercard is loco. Tim Fundura 2 and Pitbull versus Fierro. I swear was up there with Barrera Morales. Yeah, man. Bro, that Pitbull Fierro? Bro, that's the fight at the carne asada in the backyard, bro. That's what that fight's gonna look like, yo. And I love the way Pitbull be, bro. Pitbull be mad as hell, but he still be nice. He's like, ya vas a esperar? You're gonna see. Real nice guy. But the face that Pitbull be, he looked like a little Pitbull too. Pitbull Cruz was mad as hell. That fight, I think that fight ends up in a knockout too. I wonder what the betting is going to look like for that one. That fight doesn't go 12 rounds. No way. Pitbull vs. Fierro is going to be a fun fight. Fundura too, bro. You saw the fight they had last. Tim and Fundura too had one was a bloody massacre. We're getting a fun fight, but that's what you got to shout out PBC too, bro. PBC champ. Shout out to PBC. PBC always got something in the works, bro. They brought up Manny Pacquiao. I wonder how that phone call looked. Dio says, if I was betting, I'd bet Pacquiao. Barrios ain't elite. Damn. Mario Barrios, he always catches statements like that, man. He's lost to some of the top guys. That's why, bro. Fell short. Nick Kahneman says, I feel Pacquiao will go all out for the first few rounds, but I'm not sure how long it'll last. Obviously, I'm rooting for the legend, but I'm nervous for him. Bro, I'm nervous, period, bro. Last time we saw Manny Pacquiao in the ring after the fight, he was getting fed porridge by Jinky. Cheeks all swollen, shit looked like a run-over squirrel. Your man's was hurt. So I'm worried about that shit too, bro, because... Come on, man. Where do we got to go back to remember that Mario Barrios can fight, man? Mario Barrios can hurt. Mario Barrios is not a pushover. Not at all. Mario Barrios could still end up doing some crazy shit, bro. I'm going to feel bad, though, man. It's like I felt bad when Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, bro. I want to see that shit. Even though this is a real boxing match, right? And probably more within the realm of, a possibility of it happening, Manny Pacquiao winning and becoming a champion. Which I knew they're waiting for that WBO strap. They waiting to get that. Because whoever gets his Manny Pacquiao super fight is going to be chilling. Let's see where we at. My man Dio, Pitbull Fierro brought me to tears. Fierro got the Tijuana spirit. Hell yeah, bro. And he's not, bro. Those are fun. Those are real fun fights to watch. So you know how they say styles make fights. Those are fun fights to watch. I heard Pac struggled in some exhibition. If that's true, could be a long night, even though it's Barrios. Yeah, I honestly didn't even see that fight. All I know is that the guy ended up going super hard. You know how they try to do that to Ryan Garcia, right? With the same guy that I think that Manny Pacquiao fought. They try to do the same thing. Ryan Garcia thought he was showing up for an easy payday, little exhibition match. Dude was looking at Ryan like he was food, talking massive shit. Was ready to put Ryan down, but they stopped that shit quick. That fight did not happen at all. Let me see. Nick Kinnaman says, I believe Pacquiao will keep fighting until he gets KO, which is sad to think. Yeah, bro, it's sad, bro. I think that, if Mario Barrios manages to hurt him early in the fight, it's going to be a short night, He manages to hurt. We're going to see the punch resistance and everything else that comes along with long-term career, right? We're going to have to watch out for a lot of stuff with Manny come fight day with Mario Barrios. And like I said, man, look, Manny Pacquiao is a legend, fast, everything else that goes along with it. The guy that he was fighting, I think it was in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. And we could look back, obviously, take a look at. It was an exhibition, so it's not even in the. It's not even in his record, right? That was an exhibition match, Dio, if I'm not mistaken. So that wouldn't even be in his record. So, I don't know the guy's name. I have no idea who the guy was. Well, not off the bat, right? I remember the actual fight and everything, but I don't remember the guy's name. Exhibition, but he was getting pummeled on. It didn't look good. But, it was the fight where your Denny's Ugas that you had Manny looking like fuck, like he got hit by a car. Drinking porridge out of a spoon and shit. Not a good look. But yeah, you heard it. You heard what Barrios said. He's going to try to make him feel old. So how do you make a fighter feel old? High output. If you got a high output fighter in Manny Pacquiao and you want to make him feel old, you're going to have to up the ante. You have to increase that punch output. And obviously the punches landed numbers have to go up. So, the only way, or what's the game plan for Mario Barrios? On the back foot? Let Manny tire himself out. We want that punch output to be at least 30 punches, we just said, right? We want the average punches landed to be a little higher. So the output has got to be up. You're gonna make Manny feel like he's old. You gotta up the ante, bro. You're gonna have to go up there. So, in the beginning of the interview, Mario says that he's not gonna try to fall into Manny's Pacquiao. Manny's Pacquiao being, fast-paced, high-paced fight. So how do you make a man feel old if you ain't gonna increase the high pace? You gotta do it. You gotta make it a high-paced fight. So I don't know what exactly the game plan is for Mario Barrios, but that's the only way you're gonna make Manny feel old, is by pushing back and obviously giving it as much as you can to put that fighter into that state of like, holy shit, I can't keep up. Manny Pacquiao is the high output guy, so we'll see what exactly Mario Barrios means by that. What time is it? All right, guys. Looks like we covered up some of the stuff, of course. We were jumping around. So many things to listen to and talk about in the sport of boxing. Got a lot of great things happening, right? Shout out to Turkey Big Bag Alice Sheik making these big fights happen. Shout out to PBC for this one. Manny Pacquiao coming back. Never thought I would have saw it. And again, much more things coming through. Much more to talk about. We'll see what else is on the boxing landscape for this evening or this afternoon. It's already about to be 11 o'clock, so we'll be back around after some brekkie. Got to go get me a hash brown or something. Ran out of lemon water. So I'll probably check you guys out afterwards. We've been running into the 1 o'clock show or maybe 3 o'clock show. I don't know if it'll work out today, but definitely coming back for an evening show, maybe around 6 o'clock, 6 or 7. So stay tuned with us, man, and hit that notification bell if you want to listen to that little ding go off on your phone every time we go live. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. You should have. You know what I'm saying? Because we doing it kind of cool over here. You feel me? We chilling, talking boxing and everything going across the landscape and all the new developments, you know, especially with Dana White hopping in. So, again, guys, appreciate all of you tapping in with the Doomatron. This is Alex Doomsday Lioness, always here on the Boxing Biz Podcast show, early morning show, 7 a.m., morning rover. Start your day off with the kid. And promise to be here every day, all right? Keep me motivated. You guys tune in, help out, hit those likes, heart those hearts, and we keep this show moving, man. I really appreciate it, and we're going to get up, all right? I get up, you get up. Let's go, champ. Doomatron was activated. D.O. says, keep it going, champion. You know I am, champ. Y'all keep showing up. I'm going to keep showing up. But it looks like Doomatron was fully activated this morning. It's time to deactivate. Y'all have a blessed morning. You already know, stay healthy. No stress. Stay blessed. I'm out of here. Cheers.